If there's one thing Brazil loves more than samba and sunshine, it's football, or as they call it, futebol. And trust me, this love story goes way back. It all started in 1884, when a young Brazilian named Charles Miller returned from England aged 21, carrying a pair of footballs and a Hampshire FA rulebook. He was basically the original influencer, bringing back trends from abroad. And just like that one mate who insists you have to try their new obsession, Miller convinced everyone to give this little English sport a go. Spoiler alert, it caught on. The entire nation fell head over boots for the game. And fast forward a few decades, it was time for Brazil to start playing in the World Cup. Then came 1958, the year a 17-year-old kid named Pelé showed up and said, "Don't worry, I got this." Brazil won its first World Cup and respectively put down its mark on the global football stage. From there, Brazil kept adding stars to the jersey. 1958, 1962, 1970, 1994, 2002, making it the only country with 5 World Cup titles and the only country to participate in every tournament. Not that they like to brag or anything. Okay, maybe a little. And the style? Pure magic. Jogo bonito, the beautiful game. It became Brazil's signature. Think dazzling footwork, joyful play, and the occasional move that makes you wonder if gravity just took the day off. Today, football isn't just a sport in Brazil. It's part of the national identity. From street games played with anything even slightly round to packed stadiums exploding with colour and noise, Brazil lives and breathes football. So, the next time you see that iconic yellow jersey, just remember, it all started with one guy, 2 footballs, and a nation ready to fall in love.
Hello and welcome to the World Cup Weekender with me, Sam Ellard, and the former Nottingham Forest, Everton, Burnley and Watford manager Sean Dyche coming up over the next 3 hours. Well, I think you can probably guess we're celebrating England through to the World Cup semi-final after an incredible Jude Bellingham performance again. We'll get Sean Dyche's opinion on the post-match interviews from Tuchel and his star man Bellingham and dissect the game. Plus look ahead to 2 mouth-watering semi-finals to come next week. We'll take a look in depth at that. Look ahead to the Wimbledon final this afternoon, bringing the latest from the test match at Lords between England and India. The sun is shining. England are into the last 4 of the World Cup. Life is pretty good. You can get involved this afternoon on the show. 03717 223344 is the number to call. It is the World Cup Weekender and we are very much live on talkSPORT. Sean Dyche, good afternoon. How are you?
Afternoon. I'm very well, thank you.
You had a good day yesterday because, like everybody else, you obviously watched England get through to a World Cup semi-final, which was good. But you had a nice little start to your Saturday afternoon evening.
I went to watch the vaccines over at Hyde Park with a mate of mine, Alex Chamberlain. We know them, so we've seen them a few times, but good guys, good company, as well as being great at what they do. Met some wonderful youngsters, actually, and I told them I'd give a mention. We're having a couple of halves of lager shandy, as we do.
Okay, just a couple, right?
Yeah, just a couple, yeah. of course.
You on the Shandy's way?
Well, it's actually a twist in the story. As you can imagine, I don't drink half so like a shandy. That's the point.
Okay, yeah. Of all the things that I thought you don't drink.
You don't go through it like this unless you... No, but there were some wonderful youngsters who were serving.
How young are we talking?
I don't know. I'm guessing to like 18 to 20.
Okay, yeah,
21.
young,
I had a brilliant chat with them. Do you know what was refreshing? And I say this generalising amongst youngsters. I've got a couple myself, of kids that is, and didn't look at their phones, stayed engaged, because everyone had gone, and me and my mate were just having a beer before we left to get back for the game, and they were brilliant. They were a superb company.
Like
I really enjoyed it.
Like their football?
Yeah, they were just chatting about music, football, life. And it was like us two old gits chatting to some youngsters.
Hanging out with the youngsters.
Yeah.
Do you try and keep it cool? Or are you just like, hey,
no.
I am who I am. I'm no spring chicken anymore. I'll just get on with it.
Dad. Just a dad.
Just a dad.
So, but no, they were really, it was really refreshing. Like I say, no phones, everyone engaged.
No selfies.
Just chatting. And they were brilliant company. So a really good day. And then, of course, we got into the game.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about that.
Yeah. England are into a World Cup semi-final. Results good, performances. Am I being a bit harsh in saying that apart from 30 minutes against Croatia, and we'll give England credit for the way they defended against Mexico with 10 minutes, because that was remarkable.
Yep.
In terms of performances, it's been a little bit of a struggle.
It's an odd one, isn't it? I mean, you know, as a manager thinking, obviously I'm not an international manager and Tuchel's doing a really good job. I think it's a strange one, you know, because you want your team to play well, but you want them to win. Mm-hmm. And you want them to find a way to win. And even more so in a cup competition like this, you know, so it is finding a way to win, and we are finding a way to win. But I would suggest, I agree, I think we've only really had that one really strong half of football against Croatia. The rest has been bitty moments. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're going to talk about the big moments with the big players, I'm sure. But it's a strange one, isn't it? Because you take it because you want to win, and we want to win the World Cup. But it's not been all that somehow it's been remarked upon and Tuchel doing this and doing that, making all these great decisions. And I thought what was refreshing, I thought it was a brilliant interview he gave last night. I really did. As a manager, he could, you know, pass it off as being, we've won again, and, you know, the spirit and all that, which he did. He praised all that. But I thought it was brilliant the way he went. He was implying, I felt, that, right, okay, we love the spirit, we need it, and we can win games, but we can't win the whole thing unless we play better than that. That's what I thought was I thought he was implying quite strongly. And I thought it was a brilliant interview, a very fair interview. Yeah. Easy to do when you've won, mind you. It wouldn't have been so easy saying that if we'd lost.
We'll hear from Thomas Tuchel on the side of the break, but I'm going to in more detail. But I do agree with you. I think it's so boring. I mean, I've been in mixed zones and, you know, with talkSPORT and, you know, you ask managers pretty fair and normal questions and they just roll out the cliches.
Yeah, it is difficult.
So when managers say it how it is, I understand why they can't always do it, but it is refreshing. I thought it
was a brilliant interview. I really did, because he could get carried away that he wasn't. And I don't think I didn't get the feeling as well. I thought it was a very authentic interview. I don't think he was playing a game. I don't think he was trying to pad it down as if like...
He was just being honest, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. And I thought it was really refreshing, because I think he called it as most of us are thinking. By no means a brilliant tournament for our performances, but...
We're grinding out wins.
Yeah, but that counts. I mean, look at Spain. No one's really mentioned them. I mentioned them the other day, and I was like, hang on a minute, they've conceded one goal. Scored 11, I think, now, or something like that. I mean, they're just sitting there in the background. No one's really bothered about them, are they?
That's mad to think that no one's
I know. That's why
that is just crazy.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, talkSPORT has brought you every single game from the 2026 World Cup, and now there are just 4 nations remaining in what's been a quite remarkable tournament.
Let's go. Dembele charging on and finding the net. Dembele, too hot to handle. The favourites have delivered. France are into the World Cup semi-finals. Ramos has lost it, and it's hammered in, and yet again, it's Mikel Merino, and has surely won the game for Spain and taken them into the semi-finals. Lautaro Martinez sets the seal on Argentina's passage through to the semi-finals. Spilled by the goalkeeper and bundled in. England lead. It is Jude Bellingham again. 2 minutes are up, and England are in the semi-finals of the World Cup. And it's Argentina versus England to come in Atlanta on Wednesday night, live on talkSPORT.
What a brilliant tournament. I think it's fair to say it's only going to get better and better. The top 4 teams in the FIFA rankings are the 4 teams to make it through to the World Cup semi-finals. We know that it's going to be France against Spain. And we found out yesterday evening in the early hours of the morning, England getting through after beating Norway, and then in a controversial game, another controversial game. Do you think Argentina are capable of this World Cup, Sean, of having a game with no controversy?
Well, not seemingly.
It's like,
not at the moment.
I mean, then again, I say controversy. I mean, I'm talking obviously about the red card for Switzerland. And to be fair, I don't actually think it was that controversial, right? There always seems to be drama maybe in the Argentina games, but I think the second yellow card for Embolo was the second yellow card because it was a pretty blatant dive, wasn't it?
I've been going about for years in the Premier League how they don't do that often enough because it's a bizarre moment. I mean, what the lad's doing, Embolo, I have
What's
no
going
clue.
through his mind?
I know, I have no clue because he can get to the ball for one, so therefore why do you need to do that? He's trying to draw foul for no particular reason. He's not going to gain much.
It's like in the middle of the pitch, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
so,
going nowhere.
and it's blatant. I mean, he's not even near it. You know, there's not even close to being contact. I just wonder I don't know. Look, I've been harping on about this for years, so I'm certainly not going to now. But I don't know what's going on with the game when you're more interested in going down than you are in just playing the game. You just run after the ball. He can clearly just run after the ball.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't know. But anyways, it's unfortunate to a game to have that, and unfortunate on the Swiss, whatever way you look at it, to go down to 10. But I do think it's a ridiculous moment for no reason. And I do think that stuff does need getting out of the game. I've been saying it for 10 years because kids copy all that.
Yeah.
That's why I've been harping
You just need, with those sort of things, you just need consistency, don't you? So he's giving him a yellow card there, fine.
Yeah.
You now need to make sure that the next time it happens, give a yellow card. And it's
that's fair,
it's like with the Norway goal that was disallowed for the Haaland push, right? I think in isolation, Erling Haaland shoves Elliot Anderson to the floor. So therefore, that is a foul.
Yeah.
But what annoys me, didn't annoy me last night because it worked in England's favour, but what annoys me with situations like that, Sean, you'll probably know that it'll annoy you as a manager, is if that happens, let's say 50 times across a Premier League weekend, you know, shoving, pulling, getting in, whatever it might be, you know, 9 times out of 10, the referees do absolutely nothing about it. So then when one does get given, you're like, okay, in isolation, it is a foul, but it annoys me that they only decide to give it here.
I must say, I thought we got a little bit lucky with that one because it's a foul, but it's nothing actually that big to do with the fact of what happened for the goal. I don't think it's that big a deal.
You don't think Elliot Anderson's going to have an impact?
I don't think he can have a true impact. He can have an impact, but a limited impact.
Yeah.
But on the other, the way I always try and measure it is this, and I think this is fair. When I was managing, I'm in a job, so to speak. What would I have thought if that goes, the other way around?
I think Sean Dyche should have been absolutely fuming.
Well, exactly. So I get it why they're disgruntled with it. I'm like you. I mean, look, we talk on these shows. I'm just trying to give a balance view because, of course, I'm happy that.
Yeah, it worked in our favour. I wasn't. Yeah, absolutely.
Quite obviously.
Yeah,
because we win the game. But you do have to sort of call it sometimes fair. And I thought that was a soft one for me, because, but only because not because of the actual incident, because of what comes next. It's very where you're really stretching the moment to make out that he was going to have a big impact on what came next. But anyways,
England in a World Cup semi-final, Sean.
I know, fantastic.
It's been absolutely remarkable, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've been there before, so I mean, I remember them days. So but it is brilliant. I mean, and it is weirdly, like I was saying about Tuchel's comments and how fair they were and how measured they were, and we sort of, it's pleasing in a way, right? Because sometimes over the years we've kind of undervalued spirit and team ethic and belief in each other. Now it was sort of had it down because of the beautiful game and everyone's got to play the right way and all them conversations. And it is sort of refreshing to see a group of players who are going, look, we're not purring, lads, but we're at it.
Yeah.
We're physically and mentally at it. Yeah. We're demanding of each other and what it is to win games. And so we mustn't undervalue that. You know what I mean? And I don't think Tuchel was, by the way. He made that very clear. He said, look, the spirit, the demand of each other, brilliant.
And he kept on referencing that.
He did. Yeah.
We're going to touch on that in the break. Just two other very, very not that important moments that put a smile on my face. There's a great moment of when the Bellingham second goal goes in. David Beckham, in Hospitality in Corporate, it gets up in the air and he's giving him the big one. He's celebrating, as most England fans would do. He's next to Victoria, who literally doesn't even move. It's almost like she's got no idea there's a game of football going on in front of her. And I don't want to be that guy, but my first thought was, what a waste of a ticket. I mean, what a waste of it. Like if you're going to go to the game, like my mum's not a big football fan, right? But when the World Cup comes along, she gets involved. She celebrates. Like she does, like a bare minimum. At least attempt to smile, Victorian.
Well, yeah, it's strange one, but she'll have her reasons, I'm sure.
Maybe she's a Norway fan. Yeah. Maybe she likes Erling Haaland.
Well, it looks like they were having a bevy up there, so I don't know. Maybe she didn't.
3 minutes into the game, we cut to the hospitality. Venus Williams sipping champagne.
Yeah, but they're I was reading up on that, the Beckham thing, but aren't they making like not a TV program, but they're
are they?
They're inviting guests, like, just because they're David Beckham's guests. But, actors and actresses and sports stars and all almost as like a byproduct, if you know.
No, sometimes it's like the football gets in the way of all the celebrities enjoying themselves, having a glass of champagne. I'm surprised you haven't seen a camera cut to Sean Dyche up there, sipping a cider next to James Tarkowski or something like that.
It did tickle me that Roy Keane was saying about why did there was going Alf England, Erling Haaland's dad.
His dad,
why was his dad? Why not any other dad? Why not anyone else?
Well, probably because Erling's quite good and his dad. That's probably why he does.
They can't win or lose a match for you while you're sitting in the stand.
Yeah, no, true.
That did amuse me.
And also as well, I mean, obviously Bellingham's goals are important and all that. We get that. But the favourite thing about this England team, the Dan Burn off the bench cameos, you can't beat it, can you? There was a defensive header on the 120th minute, and I think I celebrated that defensive header more than I've celebrated any England goal of this tournament.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of them.
Something cult hero, isn't he?
Yeah, well, because it shows you that people can affect it from the bench in different ways, by the way. Because don't forget, usually when we talk about subs affecting the game, it'll be in the attacking sense.
Sure.
So it's good to see that people are, lauding someone for doing the opposite, which is just defending and defending ruggedly, defending hard. Headers, win your tackles, win your races. They're the rules. And if you get that right, you're probably going to do pretty well. And he's definitely effective. I thought Jed Spence did well when he came on. Because, a lot of noise early on. I remarked, does the manager do nothing and stick with him? He decided not to, but you get my point. And then he is coming into it. And now he feels like it's almost like his confidence is growing, you know what I mean? And I thought he did well to come on. Look, I haven't been in these games playing-wise, but I've managed some important games, and it's difficult. I mean, I was surprised with the change in defenders. It's difficult to change defenders in a game like when it's so close. You know what I mean? But that's why Tuchel's the manager, or not? Quite clearly.
Well, I like Thomas Tuchel being England manager, and I like Sean Dyche being part of the talkSPORT family. And he's certainly part of the talkSPORT family until 4 o'clock this afternoon. On the World Cup weekend, we're on talkSPORT. Up next, we'll go into a little more detail, shall we? On the Tuchel, the Bellingham comments, what was said. Is it a big deal? That is next on the World Cup weekender.
We all expected, okay, we need to beat Croatia by 3 goals. We need to go and beat Ghana by 3, and then we should beat Panama by 5. We should beat Congo by 5. What's it like in a tournament? It's not always the case, is it?
No, definitely not. It's funny when I see, the betting, things, before the game, and I'm thinking this is not what we expect, on the pitch. I know that England are favorite against Norway, but when you look at Norway, they look really, really strong, as a unit, as a team. Of course, they have weakness, but England must be aware that if they don't get the position of the ball in this game, and this is where I agree with Troy Deeney, for example. I think with the player they have, England, they should be more confident with the ball. They should show more commitment with the ball, and composure as well. And this is where, something is missing.
Yeah. Well, we shall see if we can show that. I mean, if you look, on paper.
I'm just sorry to disturb you, Jeff, but for this game, England against Norway, I'm just wondering, if Norway get the ball, is it what England wants into this game? Waiting, sit back, trying to play in counter-attack, or try to get the ball, the position of the ball, and try to conduct and manage, this game. So this is, for me, one of the key of this game. Yeah. Are you going to react with the ball and without the ball?
I mean, it's interesting because Norway had a lot more possession of the ball against Brazil than most people had imagined they would do.
Although the tactics of Ancelotti, did he say leave them with it? Yeah. I don't think we should do that. I think we should go after them. I really do.
Yeah, pressure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Text from Ryan. He said, Bellingham's been very good, but I think Arsenal's Morgan Rogers should get a chance in the next game. Ryan, dream on.
130 million, please.
Yeah, Bruno Guimaraes is going there. Cash. I just don't see Rogers going there as well.
After Mexico, England stare wide-eyed at potential glory. But their path towards the Final Four has to withstand the Viking invasion. Another ball through the penalty area is in. It's 1-0 Norway. Shelder up with an absolute stunner. England on the front foot here. Gordon, that's better. Bellingham taking it on. Bellingham, yes, 1-1. England out of nothing, back on level terms before half-time.
Jude Bellingham has saved us again. I mean, there's a lot of work for Thomas Tuchel to do.
Pickford comes out, punches it clear, comes back out for Ashley. Back through a crowd, headed over the bar. Morgan Rogers coming onto it, right footing. Good try, spilled by the goalkeeper, and bundled in. England lead. It is Jude Bellingham again. 2 minutes are up, and England are in the semi-finals of the World Cup.
It is the World Cup weekend. We are on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard and Sean Dyche are with you until 4 o'clock this afternoon. We're carrying on the England chat in a second, but there is some live sport going on right now at Lords in the historic first ever women's test match at the home of cricket. Lunch on day 3, India are 250 for 4. That's with a lead of 365 runs. They're in a really strong position, and a declaration should be coming soon. Let's now head to Wimbledon, though. It's been a cracking couple of weeks. The final day at Wimbledon, we got the men's final to come, and Lisa O'Sullivan, the women's doubles final, is ongoing at the moment. Good afternoon, Lisa.
Yeah, good afternoon. Groa Mladenovic taking on Gabriela Dabrowski and Luisa Stefani in the early stages of this one. 3 games to love, though. Groa and Mladenovic are leading in the first set.
Lisa, thank you very much. Back with you throughout the course of the afternoon. That men's final was set to get underway at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So good timing for us, Sean. We're finished here at 4 o'clock. Get back home. Bit of Sinners Zverev this afternoon. Happy days. You've alluded to the post-match comments between Tuchel and Bellingham. Thomas Tuchel gave an interview to TV First where he was quite critical of the performance, but was very full of praise for the attitude, the spirit that was shown by the England team. This is what Jude Bellingham said after he was told about Tuchel's unhappiness after the game.
Of course, him and Harry, they carry us, and then it's another world-class decisive performance from Jude. There's no doubt about it. So, we can end, of course, on a positive note, and the positive is way more important than the negative. But Jude was fantastic. Was again clinical and crucial in the decisive moments. So, full credit to him.
So that was Thomas Tuchel speaking after the game, and then Jude Bellingham was giving another interview, and he says something along the lines of where basically he was like, he spoke about how difficult it is with the heat, and that's something Thomas Tuchel hasn't had to have done. What have you made of everything that's happened? Tuchel's been quite honest, Bellingham's been quite honest. As a former manager, how have you seen this?
I thought it was a really refreshing and good interview from Tuchel. I thought it was excellent for him to call it how it was as he saw it, very fairly, I thought. But as you rightly said, and praise though, there was a lot of praise now, as you heard there, with Bellingham particularly. I don't know why the whys and wherefores of it. I think Stuart Pearce commented, we heard that earlier, and I think he's right. It's just not a helpful thing, but I don't know how it's ended up getting a bit tricky, because I don't for 1 minute think Bellingham would have thought anything of it. But it was just the heat of the moment, literally, I think. You're straight off the game. But then it was just later on, he did another interview and he just sort of said no comment.
Let's hear, shall we? Here is Jude Bellingham speaking after the game.
Thomas has just been quite critical of the performance after the game. Does that show the standards that he expects, the standards you guys expect of each other, and maybe that there's more to come from the team?
Maybe, but maybe he doesn't know what it's like to play in those kind of conditions against Erling Haaland, Odegaard, Nusa, Sorloth. That's not an easy team to play against. So, I think we've tried to create a positive environment. We should continue that going into the Final Four. I can't speak highly enough for the lads. You're not going to win every game popping the ball and making 1,000 passes. Sometimes you have to win dirty, and we've done that again tonight.
As a manager, have you got a problem with what he said there about his manager, Thomas Tuchel?
I just think as a manager, you probably have just a light word, but nothing heavy.
What would you say?
Well, just sort of say, look, what was your thoughts on that? You know what I mean? Because I think players are now more outspoken, and I think fans, the media, want players to be more outspoken. Sure. So I think on the one hand, we want all these players saying authentically what they're feeling, what they're thinking. I still do think it's just a bit odd at this time when you've just got to a semi-final. I think the one after the game, which I was alluding to straight after, that's different. You're just in the heat of the moment, literally.
The Tuchel one?
No, sorry.
Bellingham's first one.
The one when he's on the pitch.
Yeah, sure.
That's different because you're in the heat of the moment, but that one's a more controlled interview. So therefore, I was a little bit surprised when I saw that one, the second interview this is, because he's got a chance to just go, yeah, look, blah, blah, blah. But players are becoming more outspoken, and we do want them. You know, the game and the media companies, particularly, and fans, they do want more of that. So how can you, how can you win with it? You know what I mean? Because on the one hand, he's telling it as he sees it equally. The manager did, and he did. I just think it was like Stuart Pearce is the clearest one on it, and the reason why I'm referencing him is not only because I trust his opinion and he's a friend, but he's been there, he's been in there. So if he's saying, look, I just don't think it's a helpful thing. Well, he's been in them camps, he's played in them big games with England. You know what I mean? So I just think from the outside looking, I would just say I was surprised. That was all. But we've got to remember, this is a guy, whatever you think, is doing the business.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
If you talk the talk, you've got to make sure you back it up. And that's something Jude Bellingham's doing.
Both are, by the way. Both are.
Sure.
I should say both. The manager is, and his staff and all that, but the manager's the one who has to, the win and lose always ends up with the manager. But the players are as well, and Bellingham certainly is. So, there's a bit of leeway on that. Yeah. These guys are top operators, and they are operating at the top level.
Possibly, I mean, there was a time, wasn't there, towards the back end of last year where Bellingham wasn't making England squads. And I think Thomas Tuchel spoke about maybe some of his behaviour and some of the way he kind of speaks. Yeah, so possibly they might just not have the best relationship.
Yeah, but we've been saying during this World Cup, I was commenting just at the very start of it, he's still 22, I think he's 22, maybe 23 or 23 this year or whatever. He's a young man still, and a lot has been thrust upon him yet again. When he broke through, everyone was at it. Then he gets a massive move, delivers, and then had maybe a little quieter spell, like you said, wasn't in a couple of squads. Maybe there's something in the camp, we don't know. I just think there was just odd comments. I don't know what's going on in the camp there, but I just thought they were odd comments. I'm not saying they're right or wrong because he's a young man, but he's certainly out there and he's certainly doing the business.
Do you think we all, maybe everyone in the media, maybe, do we sometimes try and make more out of this than what there actually is? Because you said they've just got to a World Cup semi-final, heat of the moment. Tuchel's a passionate guy. Bellingham's a passionate guy. Are people in the media, are we blowing this too much out of proportion?
It's irrelevant whether we are or not because this is the modern world.
Sure.
This is what it's like. This is how much it's changed. I was asked the other day on one of our shows, what's the biggest change? That's the biggest change. That's how football's changed. The media side, the social media side.
Everything gets scrutinised more.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah,
press conferences.
Every single detail now, every word.
Sure.
You're on edge. When I was I can only give an example, not for the World Cup, but to let the listeners, give you a feel of it.
Yeah, definitely.
When I was at Everton, there's that much weight at the time on top of Everton Football Club and bad news, and the clouds were over it for almost 2 years that I was there. Every word is getting scrutinised.
Sure.
I'd say one thing out of place. Bang, and it's in the local papers and it's in the media, and that was just Everton. We're talking about the World Cup. Do you know what I mean? We're talking about the World Cup.
And also, I think with social media as well, in these press conferences, you say a line in a press conference, maybe in a 25-minute press conference, which might look a bit out of place. That one clip of 10 seconds might get clipped up, and then that's everywhere for people to see. Have you seen what Sean Dyche just said?
Well, the strangest thing of all is this modern world of clickbait. And yet we all know what it does, right? And yet people love it. They all look at it, and they don't look at the context always. So that's got to be sort of not guarded.
Will that put you off going back into the game?
I think it's maybe question the game and where it's got to, and players and the feeling of players and what they're putting out there and what you're trying to put out, and they're trying to keep the messages aligned and the truth of the camp and the spirit and all them things. I think questions, I think as a manager you go, I don't know, some managers see through all that. You see, I care about that. I do. I care about players in a different way. And I'm not questioning other managers. It's just my style. But I know managers just don't even worry about that. It's no, my job's to just pick the
the press conferences, I mean.
All the tittle-tattle and all the, clickbait and all that. And this player said that and that player said that. Some managers go, they can get on with it. I don't. I prefer the camp to be aligned. Do you know what I mean? I think that's
you would want to know what was going on. If a player says something, you want to be kept across that.
Yeah, so back to the beginning with Jude Bellingham. I'd probably have a quiet word with him. Just go, look, what were your thoughts? You okay? First of all, I go, you okay? No, you find out if he's okay. I don't know. He might have things on. He might have personal things on.
Other things,
for all you know. So firstly, I'd ask him. And then I'd decide that I was right. Like you do.
Jude, pack it in. I'm right. You're wrong. Get over it.
But he is doing they're both are. The manager's doing the business and the player's doing the business.
And that's the thing, like,
so far.
If he's not performing, it then becomes a bigger issue. But when you're Jude Bellingham, and let's be honest, at times you're literally carrying England through this World Cup. If you're going to talk the talk, you've got to walk the walk.
Well, the knife edge of success and failure as a manager. Look at it, right? If we got beat last night, I think the weight would be heavily on a not particularly great performance if we got beat.
Yeah.
But because we win, even though it wasn't particularly great, but guess what? All the positives come out. This team spirit, the belief in each other, and all that. That's the knife edge of management right there. That's where it sits. That moment there. because winning changes the whole feel of everything against losing. And that's why we all love football, when we win.
I love England fans to get involved this afternoon. If you want to come on, throw Sean a question, give us your thoughts on Bellingham and Tuchel. We're making a big deal out of it. Do you care? 03717 22 33 44. It is the World Cup weekend. Coming up next, we'll carry on talking about the mighty England.
Are France that good, or have they been tested yet?
I think probably a little bit of both. I think they are that good. I think they are, because they showed second half what they can do in tight spaces now. But I think there needs to be a moment where they will inevitably come up, probably against Spain, hopefully against England, where with their teams, more danger lies ahead. But they kind of, I think it was quite simple for France today.
Mate, they're coasting to the semi-final of the World Cup.
Yeah. Well, they're a good side though. They're a good side. They've got the best player in the world.
Do you know what I like about France? And it's a bit of a throwback. The forwards, when they get the ball, you see a lot of players, number 10s or midfielders. They'll get it and they'll pass it out wide and they'll come back and they'll go out the other side and then you might try and get to the byline. When France win the ball, they stick it into the front three or front four, and they run at you like through the middle of the park. And they just drive with the ball, a bit like what Gaza used to do. And then the game just opens up. And you're looking at it going, as a defender, I'm watching the Moroccans, they're going, how do you defend that? Well, you've got 3 people running off the ball, and then you've got the player with the ball running at you, straight at you. The second goal they score is just like them just going, well I'm just going to run through you.
Well, it was 2-0.
Hard to defend again.
It could have been 4 if Mbappe scores that. JP had a chance at the end there, and brilliant, gets got on his left foot and then scuffs his shot. And in the end, it was comfortable for France. They really didn't break a sweat. I don't remember their keeper having anything to do at all. There might have been a couple of crosses. I don't remember it. But, yeah, they're that good, mate. And I think they've got a little bit of a fear factor about them because everyone knows how good they are going forward. You cannot allow their 2 wide men to run at your fullback 1v1. You can't allow Elise to get on the turn, even in tight areas.
Iconic. There's no other word. An 18-carat gold trophy that owns the world, and it waits. It waits for 4 years. It's 1971, and FIFA need a new trophy to replace the Jules Rimet, so they launch a worldwide design competition. And in his studio in Milan, 50-year-old sculptor Silvio Gazzaniga immediately gets to work. But instead of sending FIFA a picture, he goes further and makes a prototype they can hold. It works. FIFA choose his design over 52 others, and perhaps the most beautiful piece of silverware or goldenware enters the beautiful game. Let's let the artist himself describe it. Gazzaniga said the idea was to create something symbolising exertion, dynamism, and the jubilation of an athlete in the moment of victory, with all the joy that contains. The malachite rings in the base fitted the sculpture well because it's green like a football field, and it's also a precious stone. The first captain to lift the trophy was Franz Beckenbauer in 1974, and of course, it's only the greatest who get their hands on it. Zoff, Matthias paved the way for the modern-day heroes who dreamt of lifting Gazzaniga's masterpiece. But there was something about this man holding it that seemed to deliver everything the sculptor had imagined. Were I to ever redo it, the artist once said, I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, this is World Cup weekend. We're on talkSPORT at Sam Ellard and Sean Dyche with you until 4 o'clock. We touched on before the break the Bellingham Tuchel interviews and the words that were strange. Heard there from Toby in the bulletin that sure appears that it could damage England's serenity moving forward in the next couple of days, building up to that semi-final. Do you think that's true? Is this something that the players, obviously, they'll be aware of it. I'm sure they're on social media. They'll see what's happened. But is that something that would upset the players? Is something Sean the players
Pierce,
speak
you just
about?
said it could.
It could, sure.
Yeah. We've got to be careful. You know, we have a responsibility. I understand you asking me because I've got maybe a bit of an insight into this sort of stuff. But I don't want to over-egg it because I don't want trouble in the camp.
No.
You know, I don't want, not needless trouble from the outside. This is so if I hope the media, well, you've got to talk about it. You've got to. There's no choice. None of us have got any choice. None of any of the media. So I'm not questioning the media view. But I hope it doesn't keep on. You know, we'll have a confab about it today, right? But by the time Wednesday comes around, please, for everyone in the media,
World Cup semi-final.
push it aside, get behind the lads, because I think the media coverage, and I was saying on Friday morning on the show that I think it's been really brilliantly fair in a way, you know, but brilliant for a change. I'm not killing the media because I'm doing a bit myself. But, you know, in previous World Cups, it's always like, we've got to win, and it's like, rubbish if we don't, and everything, and really heavy weight on the England team. And
why do you think that's changed?
I don't know. I don't know whether the media views change. I don't know, like life, you know, life's changing. You know, every 4-year cycle of the World Cup, life changes. And whether maybe they're sort of softening down a little bit about these things and, you know, not applying as a bigger amount of pressure. There's enough pressure for World Cup players, let's face it. Any nation, well, not with all due respect. If you're Cape Verde, they've had a world, haven't they? You know,
good tournament.
Exactly, yeah, brilliant. So there's no weight on them. But England, there's every.
How funny would that be? The Cape Verde media, they get back to Cape Verde and the media.
Yes, why don't we do
booing them on the way back?
Yeah.
Like, why don't we get to the quarterfinals? You're a disgrace. You've let the country down.
No, but you know what I mean. I think there's been a lightness of touch from the English media. Going into this World Cup and during it, I think. And I'm applauding it, by the way, because I think sometimes, and whatever anyone says, you know, they get paid a lot of money, like, there's a lot of weight on you when you play. Well, I can only imagine playing for England. I didn't. Or managed in England. There's a lot of weight on that. So give them a chance to get it going. I think we have. So I just hope that we have to talk about it. Of course we do. I hope it's parked pretty quick so the build-up is not this sort of rumbling on. And I think that would be helpful as well if everyone just sort of parks it today. So
is that you telling me to stop asking you about Jude Bellingham?
No. No, it's fair to the talkSPORT listeners who are brilliant. I meet a lot of them now around and about.
Yeah.
No, but it's important that I can give a view because at least I've got a bit of an inside knowledge.
You've got great insight.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but what I mean is...
Don't play yourself down, Sean.
No, I'm not going to give it the big one in front of all our listeners in front of you, but I haven't been England manager. You get my point, but I have managed some really awfully difficult circumstances and awfully difficult moments. So I'm just trying to give you an insight from...
Would the one that stands out, would the one be...
Everton was every day.
Every day something happened, didn't it? Yeah.
2 years of heavy lifting, you know what I mean?
How hard was that for you?
No, it's very difficult. It is very difficult because the size of the club, the fans, the demands of the fans, the demands of everyone at that time. You know, why aren't we playing this way? Why aren't we playing that way? But we were just trying to get electric bills paid to keep the club running behind all the football side. And the media was such a negative story at that time. That's why I'm trying to give you a bit of an insight because that's as demanding as that. Not in the same way as the England job. I think the England job's arguably one of the most demanding jobs in the world, actually. At football, this is. And I think I had a little slither of how that must feel. You know, the weight's really on, the pressure's really on because at Everton it was really heavy lifting. Yeah, great in a way now that it's done and I look back on it because we helped, not just me, but a number of good people, including players and the fans, played a part in protecting a football club.
Sure.
And that should never be forgotten. Not for me, it should never be forgotten that everyone pulled, you know, rallied round and you know, rounded the wagons, as they say, and protected the football club. And I think that's something that I certainly won't forget. All I'm saying is during that period, it was hard because the media, it's like a negative story was coming every week. Another negative. And
I'm guessing then, Sean, I'm assuming the answer is going to be yes. Is it impossible for you as the head coach manager to come in on a Monday morning and just concentrate on training, on the game on Saturday? Can you separate that?
It's not impossible. It's not impossible. It must leak into your psyche somewhere down the line.
Sure, and
it's constant. Yeah, it's constant. You know, constant getting hit all the time. So it must do. But your job as a manager is that is part of your job. That is part of your job. Dealing with that. Tuchel, he's a very, very well thought and rightly so manager. Look at his depth. Look at his past. He can handle it. and he will handle it in his own way. It will just be interesting to see how he handles it. I think that's more interesting for me, for sure. See how he handles it. Does he? He might just brush it away and just laugh it off. Just go, yeah, no problem.
I think that's the way he's going to do it.
Yeah, I would if I was him.
The dust settles.
I would. Yeah, I wouldn't.
We've got a World Cup semi-final to come. Let's just.
Yeah,
it's not that deep.
I would always, when I'm pushing the corner, it was usually humour I'd try and use, dry humour, and just try and say, come on, in the grand scheme of things. Because in the grand scheme of things, and I think we are all aware of this, and I'm sure we have got to the World Cup semi-finals.
Yeah, I'm buzzing for Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly.
Argentina in a World Cup semi-final.
Yeah, deep down, we're all going, all right, let's move on with this. But I think we have to talk about it because it is just a bit odd.
Maybe later in the show, and I'll ask you a couple more questions about your time at Everton, because I think that I think you did a really good job at Everton. I think you got the credit for it, but I don't know whether you didn't get enough credit given the circumstances.
No, I said at the time on the Heat side, I'm getting a bit of stick, and I come out of there. I did say at the time, I said over time, I think more Evertonians will realise the actual job, and they do. By the way, I must say they're very fair.
That's good.
But I see Evertonians because they're worldwide Everton as a football club, and I see them, and they always, they're nothing to do with whether it's brilliant or not. They just said, "Look, thanks for playing your part."
That must mean a lot, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's a nice thing to get.
Because I think over time they realised that it wasn't just about whether we're playing 4-4-2 or 4.
It was about we can get more points deducted this morning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's insane. Was that another 2 points deducted?
Yeah,
okay,
there was
cool.
fires
Great.
everywhere. It was like I was going to Kevin Thowell, who's the director of All I say. How big a hose do I need today? Is it a little hose for a little fire, or do I need the big, massive hose to put out the big fire? You know what I mean? There was something going on.
A lot going on. Yeah. Let's go to the phone line, shall we? 03717 223344 is the number to call if you want to get involved in the show this afternoon. Mike's called that number. Mike, good afternoon, mate. You're live on talkSPORT. What would you like to say?
Good afternoon, guys. Great show.
Cheers, mate.
Two things. Firstly is I want to I think Tuchel's press conference was absolutely amazing, refreshing. I think the passion he shows is something that's probably been missing from the England squad for a while. And it also, again, the subs he done, tactically brilliant. I think I agree with Sean said. I think there is a lot more that we can give. And then going back to the Bellingham thing, I think that the presenter was very clever in the way that they worded the question and said, he's had some negative comments from Tuchel. I think if they'd have told the whole story of what he'd said, I think Bellingham's answer would have probably been completely different. I think if you're just telling someone the negatives, I'd imagine that Bellingham's worked his heart out. I was going to say something else then, but worked his heart out, and
I think we know what you mean, mate.
And he'd come straight into a negative comment from I think they've done a really good performance with what they faced.
No, Mike, I agree, but I think the way that the media sort of works is they do like a bit of reaction, so therefore it's a slightly loaded comment. I agree. I don't think it's anything malicious. I don't think he's trying to deliberately catch Jude Bellingham out, but I know what you mean. The way he phrased it was a bit, as if there's a little undercurrent of trouble. Do you know what I mean? The way the reporter phrased it. But you got to ask a question. So I don't think that's unfair. And I agree. I think Tuchel, it's the best press conference I've seen. The best press immediately after game and his conference. That's the best I've seen.
I think, Mike, thank you very much. Really, really good call. I think he's obviously a great coach. It's probably why England fans really, really like him. But I also do think just his passion, the way he acts on the sidelines, I think it's refreshing for me as a fan when I see my England manager. I know he's not English, but he's passionate. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He says it how it is. And you can tell that he's emotional. And that's something for me as an England fan that I really, really like. Mike, thanks for the call. Let's go to Bill, who's called 03717 223344. Bill, good afternoon. What have you made of the whole sort of Bellingham-Tuchel kind of saga situation? Is it a big deal?
Well, I personally myself, you see it a lot in all sports. As soon as the game's over, the press want the answers, because that's their job. And I think it's just the way it is. I think if you watch sport, you don't want to get too into that because it happens all the time. It's just a shame that the guy reported it to Bellingham.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It is part of the modern media. It's always been there, though. The immediacy. Yeah. They are pushing for even quicker interviews, as you know, because now when they're coming off,
Anthony Barry's doing a half-time interview.
Yeah.
How would Sean Dyche? How would you take it, Sean? If you're back managing and the press guy goes, "Oh yeah, sorry, Sean," when he 90 seconds of your time at half-time.
Well, I know, because what they really meant, what they really think you're going to say is that last year they trialled a few of the players, didn't they? And they just answered with nothing.
Yeah,
what was the point?
I do think, to be fair, to Anthony Barry, the assistant coach,
the first game against Croatia, you could tell he was.
The insight was remarkable. It was like Anthony Barry. This is brilliant, Bill. Thank you very much for the call. But yeah, have you ever done an interview after a game in the heat of the battle, heat of the moment, and you've walked away and thought, "Oh my goodness me"?
Yeah. Or you say not so much that. I don't think I did that too badly. I thought I could handle that one quite well. It's something that you say right, and it's awful when you say something. You think, "Oh, there's the line." But don't forget though, the more you do it, I used to plant a line.
Oh, Sean Dyche, tell us more.
No, nothing.
Sean Dyche planting lines.
No, nothing's skullduggerous. But you can ease the interview your way. Don't forget. So if you've got an agenda that might smooth over another agenda, you can use it wisely. So I never ever did off the record. I don't do off the record. Never. It's my rule. But I'd guide an interview the way that I wanted it to go. So if I felt it was a sticky one, I'd guide it somewhere where I thought it needed.
And did it work?
Well, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I've done the other way. When you say something, you think, "Oh no!" It's like, "Can I capture the word?"
Can we start again? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, bring it back, bring it back, because you just know. You think, "Oh, there it is. There's clickbait. There's the headline." But sometimes my point is, you can push it towards a headline when you want to
get something out there.
Yeah, controlling the narrative when you're a manager is difficult, but you can do it in the media. And I think clever, mate, way cleverer than me, by the way.
Yeah.
The old favourites, Mourinho used to do it, so Alex used to do it. You know what I mean? Arsene Wenger maybe less so, but still had his moments. Mourinho, definitely, So you can plant what you want. The
Mourinho was the best, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, even Sir Alex. I mean, Sir Alex is brilliant with it sometimes. You had the old favourite, Kevin Keegan one, from years ago. I love it if we beat them and all that. And sort of, sometimes these managers guide it the way they want to go. Not for them reasons, not to put anyone off. No. They just guide the story where you want it to go, and you can do that.
Yeah.
And I've done that many times when I felt that it was more important that story than that story. Or giving them a story. You don't give them, but I have given them a story. And then honestly, you go, you're sitting in the office afterwards. You go, I know it. That's.
Wish I could. I've done 8 interviews. And that one line is going to make the headlines tomorrow. Goodness me. I interviewed you once after I think your Everton team won at Brentford on a Saturday 5:30 kickoff. I think you went there and won really well. Yeah, 3-1, 3-0. I remember interviewing you after the game, and I felt like you pushed me a certain way. Bang out of order. I'll never forget it. Don't do it again, Sean Dyche.
Where there's blame, there's a claim.
Exactly that. Coming up next on the World Cup weekend, we'll get all the latest odds with talkSPORT bets. Ryan Douglas.
They get into this weird situation where they forget what happened before. So all the big games, they played Havertz, right? Mm-hmm. Gyökeres, who you bought in at the start of the season, was going to be, for all the big games. In all the big games, he was on the bench. Yeah. Facts. That's what happened. Mm-hmm. So the manager doesn't trust him. That's not our opinion. That's just objectively looking at it. Havertz gets injured quite a lot, unfortunately. Gary Jesus is not the same since he's come back from his injury. So if you're now telling me that you can get through this season again and everybody else is going to be as poor as they were last year, I think you're just forgetting the fact that you lot were all losing your marbles around the Man City loss. And it was, we need a proper striker. Arteta don't know what he's doing again. You win the league, it's great, we're going to win it.
Yeah, but you know what I've always said to, I've always said to you, I always said to him, though, Gyökeres wasn't bought in for the big games, didn't I? I said that to you. We bought Gyökeres in.
What?
For the
game.
No,
I get
listen,
explain. I want to hear
the year before, Arsenal, it weren't the record against Man City's, the Liverpool, it weren't that cost us the league. It was we couldn't beat Fulham, couldn't beat West Ham, couldn't beat them lesser clubs. Gyökeres coming. I mean, he said it. Right, it's one of them. Gyökeres this season, though. Gyökeres this season scored against the Fulhams, the West Ham, so we didn't have a problem getting past those teams, which is why then we went on to win the league.
Okay, I think you won the league because you played very pragmatic football. Mm-hmm. I'm not actually allowed to say the type of football that people are calling it on air, but you played a certain type of football.
Would you play that type of football to win the league?
No.
What?
What
are you talking? Of course you would.
Honestly.
If I was a footballer?
No, it's just like...
You're my team?
Yeah.
No, I'll be happy like you lot. I'll be exactly... You get me? I'll be happy. Of course I will.
But would you like to see Spurs play that way to win?
Brendan Johnson scored with like his knee or something and we won the trophy. I'm happy. I don't care, bro. However it gets done, I'm happy. I don't really care. But what I'm saying is, you can't like gloat about it and say, we don't need a 9. That's crazy. You do need a 9, respectfully. What are you talking about, bro? If you sold Osimhen and Havertz right now, you could... sorry, Osimhen. If you bought Osimhen and sold Gyökeres and Havertz right now, you'd be great. You'd be fine. You could buy Barcola.
It is the World Cup weekend and we are live on talkSPORT. It is Sam Ellard and Sean Dyche with you until 4 o'clock this afternoon. We have got some live sport going on in the test match at Lords between England and India, day 3 in the afternoon session. India 264 for 4, leading by 379 runs. So a declaration I'm sure is coming sooner rather than later for India. We go back to Wimbledon. Lisa O'Sullivan.
Sam, our main course this afternoon will be served at 4 p.m. The Wimbledon Gentlemen's Singles Final. The top 2 seeds making it through to the last 2. Jannik Sinner will defend his title against Germany's Alexander Zverev, better known to his friends as Sasha. On course at the moment, we've got the Wimbledon Ladies Doubles Final. Guo Hangzhou of China and Kristina Mladenovic of France have taken the first set 6-3 against Gabriela Dabrowski of Canada and Luisa Stefani of Brazil. In the wheelchair men's singles, Alfie Hewitt completely outplayed by Japan's Tokita Oda. 6-1, 6-1 the score there, and that's the 3rd Wimbledon crown for Oda, his 6th successive Grand Slam singles. The 20-year-old 20 years old, is unbeaten at the slams since being beaten by Hewitt at the 2025 Australian Open.
Lisa, thank you so much. Can't wait for the men's final later, the main course. What is Sean Dyche's favourite main course?
Well, it's curry, and I did the curry.
Really?
Yeah, I did the curry. I love a curry.
That's your favourite main course?
Yeah. What of all foods?
I guess.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have just the main course. I have a full Monty.
Yeah.
Not really puddings. I don't really do puddings.
No, I'm more of a starter guy.
Yeah, I'm me. Yeah.
I find everyone. I love chocolate. I find it a little bit sickling.
If it's a death row scenario, then it's a curry.
Really?
Definitely.
What? What's your curry order?
Well, I said on this show, actually, one of the shows, I do like hot with naga, but that's really hot. That's brutal.
Yeah.
So I normally have something to mix in with that.
Yeah.
But about middle of the road, normally if I'm just going for a proper guts full, it'd be middle of the road, like a jalfrezi or something like that. Still quite hot, but not crazy.
I live quite sheltered life when it comes to Indian food. So now I just go for a simple chicken tikka masala.
But it's a good starter level, it's like
right.
It's like the old korma, and everyone starts with a korma, and then once you get the idea of chilies, and you actually go, oh yeah, quite addictive chilies. Oh,
I remember going out with mates once, and it was one of those where everyone's dipping in, and everything I put in my mouth was my mouth was on fire. And I'm thinking about how do people enjoy this? I was in pain while eating my dinner. It was ridiculous.
Pain's beautiful.
The pain.
Chili pain.
Pain is beautiful.
Hang on. The chili pain. The chili pain.
Yeah.
Is a beautiful pain. I love that. That chili burn when you're like, oh. I went into a Chinese the other day with my son, actually. I had this beef chili oil, and the lady actually said to me, she said, look, it's really hot. And I'm not kidding, it came out, it was just chilies floating everywhere. I mean, loads. And it was brutal.
Yeah.
Me and my lad, I was like, oh, that hurts.
You lad take it on?
Yeah, you don't want it. You don't want a hot one, yeah? You don't want a hot curry, yeah?
Oh, God, life's too short for that.
Yeah, no, I love a curry. The other thing, you know what? I cook breakfast. I love a curry.
Oh, full English breakfast. What's your favourite part of a full English breakfast?
Black pudding, probably.
Favourite?
The black pudding at the Delaunay is amazing. It's amazing, honestly. Oh, I love black pudding.
It can't be number one, though, can it?
Oh, I love black pudding. Black pudding.
All the greatness on a full English breakfast plate. Your sausages, your bacon, your hash browns. That is utter woke nonsense, Sean Dyche.
What, black pudding? Are you kidding me?
Now. It can't be number one, can it?
Woke nonsense we all know is I don't know, seeds with avocado.
Oh, you can't have avocado on a full English. That's disgraceful. That is utter woke nonsense.
No, that's my point, but not black pudding. I'm not having black pudding as woke nonsense.
No, okay. Do you know what? I'll give you that, but maybe
in
not.
Scotland, they do amazing black pudding.
Who does?
Scotland. Oh, they do amazing black pudding. Yeah,
we should do an OB in Scotland. Get ourselves.
And kidneys. DeVille kidneys. In a breakfast, they're beautiful.
What are they?
Kidneys. You never had kidneys on a breakfast?
No, not for an English breakfast.
Oh yeah, all day. It's old school, but they're grilled kidneys or fried in a bit of butter. Beautiful.
Oh, you're making me hungry, Sean.
I know. I love offal. Love eating offal.
Yeah, there we go. Sean Dyche's full English breakfast order. whatever everyone wanted this afternoon. It is time now, though, to look ahead to the day's action with talkSPORT Bet and their ambassador, Ryan Scott Douglas.
The Playbook with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app or visit talksportbet.com for all the latest odds and offers. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Ryan, good afternoon, mate. How are you?
Loving the chat, boys.
Let
me
tell you something. Content, isn't it, right?
Brilliant. Yeah, it's a shame the betting has to get in the way.
I thought the same thing, mate. Not going to lie.
I bet you did. And how dare you turn your nose up at Sean Dyche for suggesting curry being, the death row meal?
No, I like a curry. I just didn't think it'd be his number one death row meal.
Oh, yeah, I completely get that. I completely get that, Sam. It's got to be there.
Maybe in the top 10.
I wonder if you're allowed alcohol with it. You're probably not, are you?
With what?
Death row.
Why not? You can have a beer with your meal, can't you?
Kingfisher curry.
Yeah. I think you're allowed. I think it's a death row meal. I think you're allowed a beer with your curry if you fancy.
I don't know.
and broaden your horizons. Chicken tikka masala, fine, but you need to move to like a lamb saag or something, and that's all I'll say on it. You need to, that's not spicy.
Yeah,
and
but now they do the chili. Now they do the chili chicken masala, don't they?
A chili,
chili. Yeah, it's good.
For you to say.
Good. I know. I did all right there.
You're sweating just talking about it, Sean.
Pretty well there.
A chili chicken tikka masala. Just nice you want a chicken tikka masala. Call me boring.
Broaden your horizons.
Yeah, no,
Come
maybe
on,
I need
Sam.
to. Can you broaden our horizons, please, Ryan? Let's look ahead to the big games coming up. We've got 2 cracking semi-finals. And how are you guys pricing up the World Cup winner outright market, mate?
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's loads going on. There is absolutely loads going on. How can I not talk about, Jude Bellingham as well? You guys have been talking about Jude, and I know you've talked about his post-match conference comments, and same with Tuchel, and I'm kind of with your line of thinking as well. I think it's very healthy. But we're looking at one of the players of the tournament here, and he's now 4-1, Jude. Now 4-1 and third in the betting to win the player of the tournament. He's the first player since Maradona to get braces in back-to-back games in the knockouts as well. He's elite. He's doing so well for England, isn't he? The bet here, potentially, I like to scout the market, is England to win the World Cup and Bellingham to be the top goal scorer. He's on the same amount of goals as Kane now, and that's 20-1. But how can I not ask Sean when he's in the studio? And I know, Sean, I always do this. I'm always grilling you, but I have to get the knowledge here. Is he in good company, Bellingham, amongst the betting? Because only Mbappe and Messi are ahead of him, or is he exactly where he should be at 23 amongst these elite names?
I think coming into the tournament, I think there was a lot of question marks. I think we all know that, but I remember mentioning, I said he'd be, well, Kane's my first name on the theme sheet, but he'd be right behind him.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And that's before. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon before this tournament. I saw him as a kid, and I just thought he's so strong, for still young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's so physically powerful, and he's old school, but in a brilliant way. We talk about the number 10, right? We talk about how their flair and bringing other players in and, opening the pitch up. He does it with raw power at times.
Yeah,
he
power and
drives
strength.
into the box, like the old days of Brian Robson. I mean, fantastic, just drives in the box, but he enters it at pace and he holds his run. He doesn't just drive in their weight. He arrives in the box. That's a magnificent thing to have, and not many players do that anymore. He'll run past the opposition's defence. He'll stretch the pitch and break the back line. And not many number 10s do that. A lot of the number 10s want to, it's just hold their position. And don't get me wrong, some very good ones get turned, play other people in.
They will occupy tight spaces.
And
pop
it off.
Run and power and
but in a great way, though, in a great way. That doesn't mean I'm not undermining his technical ability, not at all. But what I'm saying is when you've got that raw power in the modern game and the drive to get in the box, I mean, that's a powerful thing. And he's showing it without doubt.
And Ryan, both semi-finals and outright winner, how you guys priced that up, mate?
Yeah, well, I mean, the big one, we manifested it, didn't we? We manifested it. We wanted an England versus Argentina semi-final, and people said that we were getting ahead of ourselves, but there we are. Are England the underdogs for the first time in that game? No, England are the favourites against Argentina. So the betting and the traders seem to think that they should get through that one as well. We were odds-on favourites to beat Norway, though. There's the context, and that went all the way to extra time. France versus Spain, it's France. And we know it's France, and that's just the way it is. They've kind of breezed their way here, to be quite honest with you. They look absolutely frightening, and that is the prospects, obviously, if we get past Argentina, they will be those in the final. In terms of the betting, though, Sam, which you asked right at the top, in terms of the outright winner, England have always been third in the betting, basically, behind Argentina and France. But as of yesterday, England moved to second in the betting for the outright. So France are the outright favourite to win the World Cup, but England have moved to second, suggesting it should be those two in the final, lads. So everybody's beginning to believe. Yeah,
absolutely,
exactly.
mate. Fingers crossed. Ryan, thanks so much, mate. Enjoy your afternoon.
Cheers, lads. You too.
That was a look at the latest odds. Thanks to talkSPORT Bet. 18+, gambleaware.org.
The Playbook with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app or visit talksportbet.com to see all our latest sign-up offers. 18+, gambleaware.org.
We are approaching 2 o'clock on talkSPORT. When we come back, we are going to bring you some massive breaking news from the world of cricket.
go to Ben. He's Arsenal fan. All right, Ben.
Benny boy.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm all right, Ben. We've got to do this quarter-final 11. Let's get it going. Come on.
All right. I've got the Spanish flamenco dance on the wing. Like around defence. Their foot tapping or dazzle their defence and send them sideways.
Yeah, the old flamenco dance.
And
Dance
a little maverick on the wing. Little maverick on the wing.
Like a flamenco dance.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Is it a flamenco or is it what is it? Flamenco.
Madame won't wait for you.
It's a flamenco.
Yeah.
Flamenco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know you're iconic now, Ben?
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
He's actually iconic.
Ben appears every single night at the sports bar.
Every night.
Doesn't he?
Without foul.
Yeah. Yeah. Been over a year.
It's been a year. All right, look, the flamenco dancer on the wing.
Yeah.
Okay, dancing about. Bit of maverick in there. All right, let's go to Dave. He's a Sunderland fan. Dave?
All right, Dave-o.
Hello, boys. How you doing?
I'm all right, Dave. How are you?
Yeah.
Good. Good. So I'm getting in early with a representative from England who I think can be our captain.
Okay.
And it's St. George himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a leader, warrior. He's up for a battle. He'll put the opposition to the sword. And I think we can play him on the wing.
No, we don't feel like a winger, mate.
Killed a dragon.
Well,
Centre half.
Killed a dragon, didn't he?
Reason being, he's got a good cross, hasn't he, St. George?
Okay.
If there's one thing Brazil loves more than samba and sunshine, it's football, or as they call it, futebol. And trust me, this love story goes way back. It all started in 1884, when a young Brazilian named Charles Miller returned from England aged 21, carrying a pair of footballs and a Hampshire FA rulebook. He was basically the original influencer, bringing back trends from abroad. And just like that one mate who insists you have to try their new obsession, Miller convinced everyone to give this little English sport a go. Spoiler alert, it caught on. The entire nation fell head over boots for the game. And fast forward a few decades, it was time for Brazil to start playing in the World Cup. Then came 1958, the year a 17-year-old kid named Pelé showed up and said, "Don't worry, I got this." Brazil won its first World Cup and respectively put down its mark on the global football stage. From there, Brazil kept adding stars to the jersey. 1958, 1962, 1970, 1994, 2002, making it the only country with 5 World Cup titles and the only country to participate in every tournament. Not that they like to brag or anything. Okay, maybe a little. And the style? Pure magic. Jogo bonito, the beautiful game. It became Brazil's signature. Think dazzling footwork, joyful play, and the occasional move that makes you wonder if gravity just took the day off. Today, football isn't just a sport in Brazil. It's part of the national identity. From street games played with anything even slightly round to packed stadiums exploding with colour and noise, Brazil lives and breathes football. So, the next time you see that iconic yellow jersey, just remember, it all started with one guy, 2 footballs, and a nation ready to fall in love.
A very good afternoon. You are listening to the World Cup Weekender. We are live on talkSPORT. It's Sam Ellard and Sean Dyche with you until 4 o'clock this afternoon. A good result yesterday for the England football team, but we have some massive breaking news in the world of cricket. Brendan McCullum will stand down as England Test head coach, but continue to lead the England white ball teams. His 10 years Test head coach will come to an end after 4 years in charge. The ECB Chief Executive Officer Richard Gould has said in a statement, Brendan breathed new life into England men's Test team during an exciting period which saw some amazing victories, and we're grateful for all he has given to the role. We now believe that the time is right to make a change for the Test team as we target victory in the Ashes next summer. Brendan McCullum has said, I've absolutely loved coaching the Test side and I'm incredibly proud of what we've achieved together. There have been some unbelievable highs and a few tough days along the way, but that's all part of taking on a challenge like this. Of course, I'm gutted not to be continuing, but I respect the decision. My focus now is on giving everything I've got to the white ball teams and help England keep moving forward. I wish the Test team nothing but success. There's a hell of a lot of talent in that dressing room. They're a special bunch of lads. I'll always be backing the boys with a smile on my face and hope they keep taking the game on. The ECB go on to say the process to recruit a new head coach for the England men's Test team will now begin. talkSPORT's cricket editor John Norman, he's a busy man. He's at Lords right now commentating and covering on the England-India women's Test match for our international viewers on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel. But he joins us live now. John, good afternoon. I'd say this should have happened after the winter and the Ashes, but has the right outcome finally been reached?
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Sam and Sean. I think this is the right call. It's understandable it took maybe a little longer than you demanded with that T20 World Cup shortly after the Ashes debacle. But, you know, Ashes campaigns, when they end in defeat, usually end with the captaincy questions as well as the coach. And so it's proved again, 6 or 7 months since that defeat at Sydney, signalling the end of any hopes England had of walking away from Australia with some credit in the bank. And Brendan McCullum follows Ben Stokes out the door. And you know, the key in all of this is part of the quote that you just mentioned. He hasn't stood down. He hasn't stepped away. Sure. He's been forced out. The decision has been made to remove him as Test coach. And it's not a decision that he's happy with, but I think it's the right call.
How will Brendan McCullum, John, be remembered as the Test head coach? Because whilst the last sort of year, 18 months has been tough, the sort of first 18 months, you know, we got to witness some pretty remarkable stuff, didn't we?
Well, we did, but I think he'll go down in the same way and be remembered in the same way that maybe we remember Kevin Keegan at Newcastle. You know, the great entertainers. You know, they dazzled. They brought. You know, they were the neutrals' favourites for a couple of years. They brought new fans to the Test arena. Certainly there was a buzz around Bazball for the first couple of years. But at the end of the day, you have to win. And it's not good enough to win at home against South Africa or New Zealand or away in Pakistan. Terrific those results were. You are marked by how you go about against the big two, India and Australia. And sadly, whilst there is so much to take from the Bazball era, it's been a wild 4 years. You know, home draws, 2-2 against Australia, 2-2 against India at home, and then heavy defeats away, not good enough. So unfortunately, I think it will be an era that essentially has allowed the game to move on in a way that it needed. And I think a lot of credit has got to go the way of Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes in and amongst all of that. They have revitalised and rejuvenated the longer format in ways that we couldn't have dared dream for 4 years ago. But you do need to win. It's the age-old debate on talkSPORT, isn't it? You know, do you want to grind out a 1-0 win, or do you want to see your team go down?
I was just going to ask you, my cricket knowledge is very, very limited. I must make that clear. But I'm thinking more about the management side of things, coaching side of things. It is interesting because I do remember the Bazball thing, and it was almost like a revolution, you know, and it was like this new thing, and it's all amazing, and everyone was, you know. But that is how hard it is to turn a moment into a longer period. You know, like that. I mean, people talking football about these exciting coaches and all that, but not many of them last that long. You know what I mean? And to try and build it into a career or a long.
When Ruben Amorim rocked up. Man United with his slick back hair and his sort of funky formation. Like, it just didn't really work, did it?
No, but you know what I mean? It's difficult. I'm not doing people down. They come in with these radical ideas, and that was, I gathered, that was quite radical in cricket at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
And then very quickly, it seems, or relatively quickly, it seems like now it's like, like pushed out type thing. The same person trying to implement the same thing. That's how difficult it is when you talk about, taking a sport in a completely different way and getting longevity from it, because you've got to win. You've got to win.
And John, another thing to talk about with this kind of last 18 months, 2 years, is the results on the pitch have been nowhere near good enough. But also what we've seen off the pitch as well has been, I think, completely unacceptable. There's been lots of high-profile incidents. There was the Harry Brooks situation, trying to get into a nightclub. The night before captaining England in a whiteboard game, there was that sort of, stag-do style trip to Noosa midway through the Ashes. And off the pitch, John, there may be a lack of professionalism, to put it kindly. That is also something that I think has to change moving forward. On the pitch results, sure, but I think we need to see these international sportsmen starting to behave like international sportsmen.
Yeah, look, just to pick up on Sean's point, it's all well and good coming into a side, and which boasts England's greatest ever run scorer in Joe Root and England's greatest ever red ball wicket taker in Jimmy Anderson, and the second one in Stuart Broad, throw in Ben Stokes at the absolute top of his game, and Johnny Bairstow. But can you do it when those five, 3 or 4 of those players move to one side? You're only as good as the players you've got. I think there's 2 parts to the Bazball era. There are the first 2 years where, it just brought new fans to the game. You know what it's like, Sam and Sean. You walk around talkSPORT Towers, and there are people who don't really have a huge amount of interest in cricket, and all of a sudden everybody wanted in. What was all this Bazball about? Why are they declaring at the end of day
Why
one?
are they hitting sixes in Test cricket? What's this nonsense
exactly.
about?
What's this reverse scoop ramps for 6 over the?
I missed the Joe Root reverse scoops, John. First ball of a Test match, I missed the reverse scoops from Joe Root.
Botham was doing that years ago.
Reverse scooping?
Well, no,
I'm not sure about that.
Reverse sweep.
Okay.
Absolutely, look, Botham. I mean, but this is the thing. Ben Stokes was the modern day Botham, right?
Yeah, but do you know what you're saying? You're saying there quite heavily about this professionalism and all that. Do you not think this thing about you've got to let everyone know that you're out beyond 10 o'clock and all that? Come on, surely. That's got too far. And what do you think? I'd be really interested. I'd like to say my cricket knowledge is minimal, but I do know about curfews and dealing with professional people and sportsmen. And come on, do you know what I mean? They're grown people. These are.
Sean, what would you do if the day before a big cup game, your captain was punched by a bouncer?
Here we go.
At a nightclub?
Of course you don't.
They don't behave like grown men should do.
You don't give them the whole group by one incident. Do you know what I mean? You don't
there has been more than one instance.
Well, yeah, okay, but there often is in football. In rugby, it'd be applauded, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? Rugby fans are going, good old lads. Good old lads, look at them getting stuck.
Good nightclub, that one in Wellington. Go on.
Come on.
No, you're right. Look at the reaction from Saracens amid the fallout from the Chelsea nightclub situation, where essentially Ben Stokes and Gus Atkinson were banned from a test match, and I think it was Saracens. They just kind of said, "Yeah, we're talking to the player, and he needs protecting."
What's the big deal, lads? What's all the fuss about it?
I'm not saying. By the way, I'm just making sure that we're clear.
Well,
I'm not saying either is right. What I'm saying is, come on, somewhere in the middle is about.
I know that people
still treat people like adults.
People do joke about, and I do agree. The idea of having a curfew in place, telling grown men when to go to bed, does sound ridiculous. But as John's alluded to, there was a pattern over a long period of time where these guys weren't behaving like international sportsmen should do. And unfortunately, they needed to be told when to be in bed because they weren't behaving like they should do.
That can be a cultural thing set by not just the coach and the manager, but set by the people involved in the group.
Exactly right. And that's why I think, and that's one of the reasons why I think a change of head coach would be a good thing.
That doesn't always come from the coach. They come from the players as well, and sometimes they should take responsibility.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? And they should. We call it self-policing. They should self-police the group. And when you got the right culture, that usually happens because they'll toe each other into line, and make sure that no one does anything ridiculous.
John, just two questions in one, please. I know it's just come out, but have you heard any names for next Test head coach? And what does this mean for Rob Key, the director of cricket? Is he still quite fortunate to be in a job?
Well, Sean sounds like he could do a pretty good job coming in, so maybe he's going to be one of the names that's thrown out there.
I couldn't.
Look, it's very early days. The name I'm hearing is Andy Flower. Now, he is a coach with enormous pedigree and standing within the game. He was incredibly successful as England head coach, 15, 16 years ago. He oversaw the Ashes win in 2010-11. He has, he's stayed within the game, and he, as an individual and as a coach, is seen as somebody who has, not improved with age. There was an intensity. You talk about the culture within the side, Sean, and the culture within that great England side. There's a feeling it just got a little bit to the other way. It got a little bit too micromanaged, a little bit too intense. The pressure was too much, and it all came to a horrible end in 2013-14 in the Ashes when England lost 5-0. He's a very different man these days, Andy Flower. He's employed by Royal Challengers Bangalore, who've gone back-to-back in the IPL. There's a lot of money there. So whether the ECB's pulling power is quite what it is with other individuals within the game, we'll just have to wait and see. But he's certainly a name that I've heard as somebody the ECB are interested in pursuing. I mean, our old colleague Gareth Batty at Surrey, 3 championships in a row. Could he come in and work within this camp, within this England setup? So he's a name as well. So there too. And I've completely forgotten what the other question was, Sam.
You know what, John? We're running late. Don't worry about it.
You can WhatsApp, Sam, WhatsApp me.
If you can send me a voice note, mate, that'd be really good. And then maybe we'll play it out later on the show. Yeah, I'll WhatsApp you. John, enjoy the rest of the Test match as well at Lords. For our international viewers, there's commentary of the women's Test match at Lords right now on talkSPORT's Cricket's YouTube channel. England, India 292 for 6, leading by 407 runs. One man who doesn't want Gareth Batty to be the New England Test head coach is probably Sean, because that means no more hospitality tickets.
I know, I do know Gareth.
I know I've seen him in there.
He has looked after
I don't like cricket yet. When the Oval's there Friday night, best nightclub in London on a Friday night. Sean Dyche is there getting on it. A few shandies with Gareth Batty.
It makes sense.
There we go. Confirmation then of the big breaking news. Brendan McCullum, it's being phrased as standing down as England Test coach. I think we can say he's basically been relieved of his duties as the England Test head coach. You're listening to the World Cup Weekender on talkSPORT. Up next, I'm going to ask Sean Dyche whether or not there's such a thing as a big game bias, big team bias within the world of football.
Newcastle's summer exodus is set to reach a crisis point. Sean, you'll have heard this news. Sandro Tonali, Anthony Gordon, of course, already out the door. Club captain and fan favourite Bruno Guimaraes has reportedly informed the hierarchy that he wants to join champions Arsenal. With another star player forcing his way out, Darren Bent raised serious concerns about what this loss could mean for Eddie Howe next season.
Yeah, I do feel for Eddie Howe. I really do, because again, there, Bruno leaves tonight. He's obviously gone to Tottenham as well. Isaac, they just haven't been able to kind of recruit the players certainly the quality that they've lost. And you look at what they've bought some of these players for. Isaac, was it 60 million? They sell him for 120. Like tonight, they bought him for a fee. They sell him for more. So clearly, he's improving these players. But at some point, I think if Newcastle do want to go to the next level, they've got. I know it's hard with the PSR and the financial fair play, but if they do want to go to the next level and then stay there, they've got to find a way of holding on to some of these players.
Oh, look at Darren and his floral number. Watching on the smart TV, I like that. Sure. Do you have sympathy for Eddie Howe in this situation? The latest is that Bruno has agreed personal terms with Arsenal, but Newcastle's stance is that he remains not for sale.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's really tough, and the challenge that you have is not just if one of your big players goes at any football club, at any level really. People understand there's a time and a place. When 2 go, that can make other players a bit itchy and a bit nervy. Then if 3 go, all of a sudden they go, hang on a minute, who are we bringing in? And I think they're right on that cusp. I don't know their situation at PSR, but I've been through that obviously in my time at Everton, so I know how dangerous that can be. But I think losing the players of that quality, I think that's really tough on Eddie, and I think he's done a great job there. So hopefully, I mean, look, you never know on the other side of that, good people in there.
It's the World Cup weekend. We are on talkSPORT at Sam Ellard and Sean Dyche with you until 4 o'clock. Just a reminder of the breaking news we brought you 20 minutes or so ago. Brendan McCullum is no longer the England Test head coach. He's been relieved of his duties. He will carry on doing the white ball rolls, T20, 50 overs. For more reaction, head over to talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel. Sean, is there a big team bias in football? This mainly comes after Egypt accused FIFA of favouring Argentina after Egypt's dramatic 3-2 round of 16 defeat to Argentina. The manager said his side had been cheated and suggested there were external factors because they wanted to keep the world champions in the competition. The Egypt forward, Mustafa Ziko, went further, claiming the game was rigged and alleging FIFA wanted Lionel Messi in Argentina to progress. I would just say, just on that specific sort of those comments and quotes of it being rigged and all that, I mean, that is a load of absolute nonsense.
Yeah, that's too far. I'm not even going to entertain that.
Like the Egypt goal that was not a goal. Like, if you thought it should have been a goal, that's an absolute fair opinion. I actually thought, looking back on it, there was a clear foul in the build-up, and obviously they went on in that attack to go and score a goal. And I kind of then thought, if you look at the two incidents, the foul and the goal was scored in the same passage of play.
Yeah,
I think that's just the right.
Yeah, I'm certainly not going into the madness of all these conspiracies, but I think the thing that has changed there, and I'm sorry to say this, but I mean it, and I've spoken clearly my view on that VAR. VAR, what it's done is it's helped take away the psychology of the officials. Because there's no two ways about it. When I first started and got in the Premier League with Burnley, our first couple of seasons, you go down to certain clubs and you're probably not going to get the big calls, and we didn't. Factually, we didn't. The thing with VR, what it's done is take away them big calls because there's no bias in it. You know what I mean? It's VR. There's no bias. It's just what you see, especially the offside. Whatever people think of it, he's only a toe offside and all that sort of stuff, or she's only a toe offside, whichever way you look
offside
at it.
is offside.
Yeah, exactly, right? So there you go. So what VR has done, it's taken away some of that kind of, if there was such a thing as this psychology to a performance of an official, in a stadium. It's human nature, by the way. I never used to gripe about it because if you're in Old Trafford, there's 78,000 people there, and you've got 2,000 of that 78,000, and they're all baying for the referee to do whatever. Do you know what I mean? Remember the old days of Fergie time and all that?
I remember.
Yeah, well, of course.
That was my childhood.
Oh, I experienced it. Yeah. We were leading there once, and we ended up with a 2-2. They scored 2 late on and 2 proper moody decisions.
Right.
And I was going, right. And then VR came along, and I understand, I've spoken clearly, for fans, nightmarish.
Sure.
But for professional people, it does even things out because then key decisions can't go against you. Now, very rarely.
If a Man United centre forward against your Burnley team is
they're offside, he's offside.
The official will maybe lean towards the Man United player, but that then can't happen because factually the offside will be overturned
so the
on
big game bias in the sense of true decisions being made has definitely levelled out because of VR. Professionally, I must make this clear. I know for fans it's a nightmare, as I said.
Sure.
But professionally speaking, it's definitely helped level out the idea of this big game bias.
Pre-VAR then, how? I mean, I'm trying to think. You work all week.
We were down at the Emirates one year, and I can't remember who's the official. I can, but I'm not going to say it's not fair. 3 yards offside. I mean, honestly, miles, and we didn't get it. And they win, and stuff like that, down at the Emirates against us. You just go like, how did, you're thinking, how does that happen? Now it'd be like, it was that far offside now, it wouldn't take them 3 seconds.
So, but, you go to Old Trafford, Emirates, Anfield, whatever it might be. As a manager, is there anything you can do? Would you try and see the referee before the game and say, hey, come on, mate, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Don't fall into the trap.
Sometimes you'd pre-comment to the referee. I mean, I didn't do that. I tended over the years to not go into the referee's room, like you can send one of your coaches in.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get involved. Honestly, it's a popular myth about people like me where they go, "Oh, it's involved." You don't want to. You don't deliberately.
Can I say one thing about you that I thought
with the officials?
I thought covering games with talkSPORT. I think you like to chat with the fourth official. Is that fair?
Yeah, but you know what annoys me about that, right? Everyone presupposes that you're using bad language and all that. I very rarely.
You're just asking questions.
These are my rules of thumb. I very rarely swore at the officials. Virtually never have I called an official a name.
Yeah.
Never. especially a derogatory name about their person. Never. So it used to annoy me that, because we go, no, you always at the fortune, you know. And even someone else, why are you giving it all that? And I go, what do you mean? I said, I never slag you off in the papers, never. Can't remember hardly ever question. I'm sure someone will find one, but very rarely did I. No, but very rarely do I.
You'd be asking the fourth official, hang on a minute.
Go, hang on a minute. Well, yeah, exactly.
Why is that
what's going on there? You know, what's that all about? Do you know what I mean? So, you know, it's tricky on the sidelines, you know, and everyone presupposes me. Trust me, we all know some of the managers, don't we? We all know about that technical area manager going about 25 yards out of it.
Mikel Arteta. Just say Mikel Arteta.
I will give you a bit of insight, actually. Last year, there was an incident where I stepped 1 yard out and the ball came straight over to me, and I videoed it, and I did send it in and said, have a look at this. And I was literally pointing. It was hilarious. I was pointing at their manager, who's 10 yards outside the technical area.
Who, Arteta, was it?
No, I'm not going to tell you who.
Oh, come on. Who was it?
It wasn't Arteta. And I actually sent it in. And to be fair, they went, yeah, okay. They apologised because they went, yeah, okay.
So you're at your technical area?
Yeah, because the fourth was like man marking me. Do you get what I mean? Already on me.
No.
And it's like 4 minutes into a game, and you can see me.
I love that.
Oh, it's brilliant. It was actually really funny because you can see me laughing about the fourth official at my bench.
You're out just.
Yeah, and he's on me. And bearing in mind, their manager in the same clip, because it's wide angle, is about 10 yards outside of the technical area.
Who was the manager? Was it one of the big clubs?
I can't answer it. No, it was nothing like. No, it's definitely a Premier. I thought it might have been a European.
So you then go in Monday morning and you say to your analyst, get me that clip. I'll send in
I very rarely do this, but I won't have it. I went, no, I'm not having it. Because the fourth was on me like a shot. And, the game's just 3 minutes old or something.
Yeah, I know.
And I went, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So anyway, to be fair, they had to. Howard rang me and said, all right.
Really?
Yeah.
I do think, like, if a manager is like, you know, and I don't mean to keep picking on, because it isn't just Mikel Arteta, but he's probably the one that feels like he's out the most.
He spends less time in the technical area.
He's basically a left winger for Arsenal, isn't he? In the second half.
He won the league, though. He's allowed.
Yeah. Do you go on well with Mikel?
Yeah, most of them are all right. I mean, you got to remember, sidelines are different. On the sideline, you're both fighting. I've never understood when people make a big deal about it. Why not? Why can't you have a row on the sideline? Because you should be fighting for your team.
Sure.
In my opinion. But after the game and all, I mean, they don't do it so bit often now. You used to shake hands, you know, and have
Do you have a drink with them?
No, I don't really happen. It's not the European. It's not the European culture though. Everyone makes a big deal. It's just not their culture.
It's more of an English thing, that is.
Yeah. So a lot of the foreign managers, when they're over a long time, like Thomas Frank would, Pochettino would, but they've been over a while, you know. But at first, it just wasn't their culture.
So Ruben Amorim rocks up. He's not. You're not having a shandy with him after the game.
Yeah, but he was a good point in reference actually, because I just to me on one of the podcasts I said if I would have played 4-4-2, I think we'd win more games, right? And I was actually saying because of the quality there. And they were trying to goad him with it when we played there, and he was terrific.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he didn't get involved. He didn't get involved. He said, well, he was giving an opinion. That's what I expect. And I don't get involved with pundits, by the way, because that's what your job is, give an opinion.
Yeah, sure.
I've never been rattled or unsettled by a pundit. I just go, yeah, okay, fair enough. Even when there's no insight at all, because some give you no insight. They don't know anything of the reason why they're saying what they're saying. Some. Yeah. But you just have to go, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, taking on the chin a minute.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
We're approaching 2:30. We're going to carry on this conversation either side of the break. Lots more questions to ask you about. This is, when for me, like when I listen to talkSPORT and you've got managers on a show or an ex-player, obviously it's great talking about the England game last night, but I love stuff like that where you probably take us like into the mind of a football manager and what goes on the sidelines behind the scenes.
That's why I wanted to try and give some meat on the bone, as I call it, to these conversations. Give our listeners just a little opinion. Doesn't mean it's the right opinion.
No, everyone's got an opinion.
But at least I can give an insight and an opinion with some depth to it. You know what I mean? And that's why it drives me mad when they clickbait all these things that I say, because they go, why are you doing that?
We wouldn't do that. I promise you one thing, Sean.
Oh, I didn't mention we'd do that, of course.
We would not ever. talkSPORT have never done anything such a thing.
Never.
In fact, on the front door as you walk in, it says #no clickbait.
Well, I did say
no clickbait at all.
Mention it, and I have just mentioned it.
What's that?
Yeah, so you keep doing it, I'm going to mention it on air.
No clickbait here, Sean. Stay with us on the World Cup Weekender on talkSPORT.
I mean, as recently as 2024, Bruno Touzezol, he told everybody who cared to listen what he wanted to achieve at Newcastle.
Never said that I would like to leave. since I signed for the club, I always said I want to put my name in the club history, and nothing changed. Nothing changed from me. It is keeping going. I still want to win some trophy for me. When I signed for the club, I said I want to play in Champions League, and everyone said that I was crazy, and we got it. Now I wanna be in Champions League again. I wanna win something for the club. I think the fans deserve. We are worked so hard to get it, so this is still my dream.
And then a year later, Simon, they win the Carabao Cup. And Bruno says, "This is my second home. We're making history. Someday, when I leave this club, I want the fans to sing my name the way they do Alan Shearer." I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Well, look, first and foremost, ask yourself the question, why are these players suddenly all deserting the sinking ship? It's not a sinking ship, but it doesn't appear to be a particularly ambitious one. It doesn't appear to have an ownership model that everyone thought was going to change the whole direction of football. Oh, my God, we've just sold to a nation state, one of the richest nation states, and look what they're going to do to football. Well, they haven't done anything. They're going to buy everybody. They're going to buy Ronaldo. They're going to buy Messi. They're going to have this player here, that player, this player, you know, and they haven't. Yeah. They bought a bunch of players that to some extent, they've gone and made better. And these players are now doing what every player does, which is go, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Oh, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Oh, Real Madrid. And that's what Newcastle have found themselves in a position of doing. So ask yourself the question, despite the vilification of a player that 2 years ago said he wanted to stay, nothing lasts forever. He's done his 2 years. He is entitled to leave. How he leaves is the key component part of this. But also, why? Why are Newcastle now a place where people want to leave from?
Yeah.
And that's the problem Eddie Howe's got. That's the problem that Matey Boy says that to everyone they're going to win the league by 2030.
Yeah.
Those are the challenges that they've got.
And on the World Cup weekend, we head straight to Wimbledon. We got the men's final coming up at around 4 o'clock this afternoon. Yannick Sinner taking on Alex Zverev. That's the number 1 seed v the number 2 seed. For Lisa O'Sullivan in the women's doubles final, possibly we might not be too far away from a winner.
You see, we said that yesterday in the women's final in the second set, which went to an exciting third. A brilliant win in the end for Linda Noskova. 5 games all in the second between Guo, Mladenovic and Dabrowski and Stefani. It is Guo and Mladenovic who took that first set 6-3, though. I've just taken my eye off the ladies' doubles final for a moment, Sam, to check in on the juniors. It's the boys' final, and American qualifier Jordan Lee of the USA has just won the second set to level the match with Australia's Cruz Hewitt. He's coached here by his dad Leighton, who of course won the men's title in 2002. And that is the first set that Hewitt has dropped at the championship. He is now 2-love up in the deciding third.
Lisa, thank you so much. Back to Lisa throughout the course of the afternoon. You like a bit of hospitality, don't you, Sean? Have you been invited to the Royal Box before?
I haven't been invited to the Royal. I've been to Wimbledon. I did get looked after at Wimbledon rather nicely. And went to.
How'd you get invited? Do you get invited? Did someone call you up and say, "Hey, do you want to come here?" Or do you inquire?
Yeah, it was Jimmy, a friend of mine, who once lead us in sport. Great fella, by the way. He invited me and just went in one of the, not the Royal Box, but like one of the beautiful restaurants out, the corporate area.
Still pretty nice, I'm guessing.
Oh no, yeah. Look, there's some downsides to being a manager. For sure, and in the Premier League, when your profile goes, a million selfies all the time is random, but that's part of life. This word of sort of fame, sort of semi-fame, if you like, you're not like a rock star or anything, but people know.
Sean Dyche is a rock star to me. You're a rock star to me, Sean.
No, you know what I mean. I'm being serious for 1 second.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
No, come on.
Let's be serious. Sorry, carry on.
My serious flow. But joking apart, there are some tough sides of it, and you get a bit of stick. You get some lovely stuff, but you get a bit of stick. But you know what? You do get doors open for you. You get some. Music. Some of the music people I meet are amazing. Last night I got well looked after watching the Vaccines. Brilliant band, great guys as well. So that's fantastic. Like things like corporate stuff and invites, and I've watched England play rugby and been well looked after, and the day at Wimbledon, and so you do get some amazing things. So I'm always careful to check myself and not cried in too much, and I'm getting a bit of heat or getting a bit of stick, because it has opened some amazing situations. 10 or so years in the Premier League, it opens a lot of doors in life. So, but I still haven't been to Gymkhana. We're talking about curries. I must have tried to get in Gymkhana about 1,000 times. If anyone can help me get in Gymkhana, because it's two Michelin-starred Indian restaurant, and I've never tried that level of Indian food.
Well, go on, take it away.
No, come on. There must be someone.
Do you want
to someone who can get me into Gymkhana and just, even for lunch or something, you know what I mean? It don't have to be a big night out or anything. No. That's a tough place to get into.
Yeah,
you can get into. I could book it like 7 months in advance. But the problem is, can I? That's the problem, because I'm always doing something. Well, I worked on my birthday. I was in here on my birthday.
Oh, really?
What I mean.
Oh, that's dedication.
So, I'm not really bothered with
Good man. No, they're overrated, aren't they? Yeah. What's the best store you've had open? Was there one where you're like, okay, yeah, that was pretty cool?
Probably music stuff. I got right in the middle of Glastonbury with another brilliant fella. They hate me name checking them, by the way. But Melvin Ben, who owns Festival Republic, what a fella. And he helped me get a place, a nice Winnebago in the middle of Glastonbury in his area. And
nice.
They're wonderful people. He's got brilliant people who work for him. And so that was pretty special. And not free or anything, but it's not about that. It's the access. Yeah. I don't mind paying for anything, by the way. I never do that. It's just getting the access. If someone can get me in the door. I'm serious. But Scott Barton from Creamfields, he looked after me and my son and his mates for his 21st in Las Vegas. Scott's right behind all the DJ stacks.
Oh, really? In Vegas?
Yeah, so
that's
his
cool.
His family set.
Vegas is great, isn't it, Sean?
He knows all
some of the
DJs,
sites you see, right?
There's some interesting sites.
Oh my, you've never seen like it, honestly. My jaw was open for 5 nights in Vegas.
I love it when I love it when you're just in like an amazing restaurant or something, and some dude will walk in with like trainers on and a bum bag and be massive, and it looks like he's played tennis. He'd probably have £1 billion, you know what I mean? And they just sit there in this fancy restaurant just looking like that. I love all that.
Yeah, you're like, just like nowhere else in the world could you get away with it.
That's exactly my point.
If you win, you dress normally, right?
Yeah, just people bowling around, just living their lives. I mean, I'm not even a big gambler, by the way. I'm not against gambling, but I'm not a big gambler. I just love the atmosphere of it. And so now he looked after me, amazing, right behind like some of the top DJs, literally behind the stack. And that was all free. He just got all the DJs, and they all because he
are there videos of this? Are there videos of Sean?
No.
Surrounded by all the cool people giving you.
But you haven't heard me on here before. Our listeners have, and I used to go to the Hacienda back in the day, and all the raves and all that sort of stuff. So not all the raves, but some of them.
Yeah.
And clubs of that ilk.
So that's the good of it. You touched on some of the bad of it. You know the stick that you get.
Yeah.
When you're a manager, do you get a stick in public when you're you're out for?
No, I call it. Like
social media
like road rage. I call it stadium rage. So people get in stadiums and act completely differently than they do when you see them just walking down the street. You know what I mean? Most people are really, really fair, really kind. And most people self-police. Like, if you see a group of lads and I've had a few beers, if there's one of them steps a bit over the mark, usually their own mates go, hang on a minute, he's here, he's having a beer with us, he's chatting with us, and they just go reeling.
That's good.
Yeah, no, I swear to you, most people, there's very, very few people, how you imagine, very few people say nasty stuff and all that. But they do online and stuff, and
social media, isn't
your family and your friends, they get, and all that. That's when it gets a bit tricky,
Oh, when they come to the stadium and stuff.
I can take it. I can take the goods and the bads because that's part of your job. You become, I don't know, I suppose.
Well, you get used to it, right? It probably becomes a part of your daily life, right?
And you take a bit of heat and you go, and you know what I always think? If someone's venting on me, at least I'm not taking it on someone else. That's what I always think. Because you get a few hits along the way, and I think, well, if you want to take it on me, fine, but just don't leave other people alone. So
what a good man, that. What a great way to look at it.
No, I'm not trying to be clever about it, but
but it's true, yeah.
If someone online wants to give a bit of hate, I'll put it on me. Don't put it on someone who's an innocent person. You just want to hit them for no reason. You know what I mean? So just put something bad about ginger people. I'm all right with that. That's another one. That's a brilliant one. People still say ginger stuff to me in stadiums. I'm like, really? You don't think I've heard every single ginger joke or ginger?
Yeah, I heard that one before, mate.
I know.
What's that? Yeah, I heard that ginger joke.
They all laugh, and you go like, oh my goodness, what, you think I've never heard that?
Got you with that one, didn't I, Shawnee? I bet you didn't see that one.
I remember at Palace, there was a fan at Palace who relentlessly kept shouting my name, just my name.
Yeah.
Dyche, like I was going to turn around and join in.
Have a
and
conversation.
You know what's going to happen if I turn and go, and do that sign that we all know the sign he'd be doing.
What sign's that?
Well, yeah, of course. So I just didn't even look.
Yeah.
But I mean, relentlessly shouting.
That must have been really hard, though, for 90 minutes to ignore the one bloke shouting.
My assistant won't. He came up to me and he went, "Can you hear that fellow who's has not stopped shouting your name?"
Yeah.
I said, yeah, but he'll run himself down because someone next to him is going to go, can you please stop just shouting his name?
Imagine being a Crystal Palace fan. You spend however much money on a ticket to watch your team play football. You rock up to the game of football and you spend 90 minutes not supporting your team. You spend 90 shouting the name of a manager. That's nonsense.
I know, that's what I mean. And the people around him eventually they'll go, can you just sit down?
Yeah.
My favourite of all favourites, and I loved it there. I had a brilliant time at Millwall when I was a player. So when I went back there as a manager with my staff, I'll keep this quick. We were down in the dugouts and people coming to, hey, Dyche, brilliant to see you, sign this, sign that. The whistle blew and they absolutely battered me. And then it finished, they went, anyway, good to see you, Dyche. And all my staff went, what was that all about? I said, it's just being at Millwall, mate. Yeah. That's what life at Millwall's like.
I've got a signature. Thanks, Shawnee. We'll make a couple of quid out of that.
Yeah,
you this, you that. You ginger this.
For 90 minutes or 95 minutes, and then afterwards, good to see you, Dyche. Good to see you back down the Den, son. See you again.
See you next season, mate.
I'm loving it. My staff are wetting us.
Oh, that's not
the subs and that. The lads on the bench, I'm going,
having a giggle.
What is that all about? I said, that's Millwall.
Was there a particular dugout though in the Premier League? I mean, I'm trying to think of ones that may be closest to fans.
The worst single moment of abuse I ever had was at Brighton, strangely enough, because it's a nice.
I know
it's a nice
Brighton,
club.
Bournemouth, Brentford. I don't think they swear at other people down there, do they?
Some fella, he would relentlessly, I mean, every name. And in the end, I went, there's women and children out there, mate. I said, can you just call your jets? You know what I mean? It was really bad. Really bad. I mean, every expletive you can think of, and an absolute. I don't know. I never get involved, but it was that bad. I went, mate.
Oh,
I said, can you call down? There's other people up there. You know, it's not about you. It's about them fans up there as well. You know what I mean?
They paid lots of money not to hear you shout.
Yeah, but no, I mean, really bad.
Here's a question I'm sure you've never been asked before on talkSPORT over the last couple of months, but I haven't asked you that. Are you wanting to get back in, or are you quite enjoying time away from the game?
Look, I mean, you never say never because it's the strangeness of the shifting sands of football are really clear. You know, everyone sees it. And I always give Everton as an example. 3 years ago, everyone thought I'd been interviewed. I hadn't been, by the way. And then, you know, and it was like, what do we want him for? And then 3 years later, when it was in real dire straits, they were like, oh, yeah, we could do with him now. Do you know what I mean? So your jobs can fit you at different times.
Sure.
And you manage different situations at different times. So am I never going to do it again? No, I'm not saying that. But am I opening my eyes to something else with media work and all sorts of stuff? Some just silly stuff. Some I did have Snickers. I'm doing another one for someone else. Well, it hasn't broken yet, but that, you know.
I'm not also, by the way, if you're listening, Snickers, I'm not being funny now. Can we please have a free box of Snickers then? And after that free Sean Dyche plug, let's make it happen,
come on, Giancarlo, any danger? No, you get what I mean? I'm going like, you know, these are enjoyable things.
Yeah, you're having a bit of fun.
Chatting with you, you know, I mean, look, some of this we're serious, of course, and people want some serious stuff, and I try and give meat on the bone, as I call it, you know, and with Simon and Jim, it's a bit more, you know, a bit more angled.
Oh, that's too serious, isn't it?
No, but
I'm joking. Good. We love what.
But I want to have a bit of fun with it. I want to make people. Me and Johnny do shows. You know, we want it to be people that our biggest compliments. People say it's like sitting in the pub. You know, that's exactly what we want.
That's what talkSPORT. A lot of it is. Yeah.
Well, we want to be part of the people. We want to be But with a bit more, I keep using that being on the bone. Some with a bit more knowledge, a bit more depth. I want to give our listeners a bit more depth and a bit more reason. It doesn't mean it's all right. I'll say it's my opinion. Doesn't mean it's the right opinion. But I will give you an opinion, and I'll try and give you an insight. And that's all I try and explain.
Well,
and I'm enjoying doing so.
I figured it out for you. The best balance? International management. There we go.
Well, maybe.
You've got to manage, 8 games a year? You can still come and do some talking. You can still do your Snickers advert. You can still get to Las Vegas behind the desk, giving it the big one.
Well, mate, Mourinho's out there doing the Snickers ad. I keep actually...
Goes he?
He does Snickers. I keep commenting, right, so I just put this bit at the bottom. You can comment. On social media.
Oh, yeah, no, I know you can comment, yeah.
No, so I'll put...
And like as well, you can like...
Yeah, I bet his advert's not as successful as mine. I bet we got paid the same. Me and Jose.
He needs a different agent.
I think his fee is slightly larger than mine.
Do you reckon?
I reckon there's a good chance.
It's like me saying I reckon your fee, Sean, slightly bigger than mine for this show.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. There we go. We need a Dyche Mourinho talkSPORT kind of crossover.
By the way, he's a Watson manager.
Is he?
I know he gets some e-bums.
And a good man as well.
Yeah, I know him a little bit in passing, but what a manager. No two words about what a manager.
It is the World Cup weekend. Sam Ellard alongside the brilliant Sean Dyche, former Everton, Burnley, Forest and Watford manager with you until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Of course, lots more to come. We'll continue to look back on the England game. Now look ahead to the 2 semi-finals to come next week. I mean, the top 4 ranked teams in the rankings all meeting in the semi-finals. We've got the latest from Wimbledon, the England Test match happening in Lords right now. And up next, we'll chat a little bit about Newcastle and Eddie Howe. A tough season for them and already a tough start to the summer transfer window.
I think you're underestimating Bruno Guimaraes. I mean, you can look at the figures and say, yeah, not brilliantly impressive. But every Newcastle fan will tell you he's the heartbeat of their team.
That's Newcastle, though, Jeff. Jeff, we're not Newcastle United.
Oh,
right?
Joe, don't be arrogant. Do not be arrogant, pal.
What do you mean not be arrogant? We're Premier League champions. I'm not saying I don't want him at the club.
Yeah, you're Premier League champions now. You're Premier League champions now. Let's come on in 12 months' time and find out if you're going to say the same thing if you're not Premier League champions then.
Jeff, of course we're Premier League champions. We just won it a few months ago. Come on, Yeah. So you got to give us a bit of time. What I'm saying is, good player, but I don't want him to be the marquee signing. If he is the marquee signing, I'm going to be upset.
Well, I tell you what, Joe, shouldn't you be worried? You're talking about marquee signings. Aren't you concerned about financial fair play, or the equivalent of as it is now? And you busting the rules.
Get rid of everyone you need to get rid of to make it happen. Because if you're spending 60 mil on a player, then that means people need to go as well, right? Get rid of... We've just spoken about Norgard. If you don't like him, get rid of him.
Trossard, Gabriel Jesus.
We're hearing Trossard. Get rid of all of them. To be fair, I do like Trossard. And if it was up to me, I'd get rid of Martinelli instead. But get rid of who you need to get rid of. Then we can start talking business. But this better not be the marquee signing.
I do the marquee signing, but I agree that Arsenal need a left winger. Do you know what I mean? Don't spend 80 million on Guimaraes and then you can't afford to go and buy, if Barcola's available, for instance, Joel, and he's worth 100. You need a top left winger, don't you, on that side?
100%. And that's what I want to see. I want to see someone... Look, the reality is if Marcus Rashford was available at a good price, I would probably go for him. As long as, it doesn't unbalance the team, because he's a great player. And the reason why I say unbalance the team is because, you heard of the stuff at United before, how he was over there when things weren't going his way or things were a bit down. So I think it would be a good move for us to go in there and get him.
It is the World Cup weekend. We're live on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard and Sean Dyche with you until 4 o'clock this afternoon. It is now time to catch up, though, on the odds, thanks to Sky Bet.
Football form roundup on talkSPORT with Sky Bet. The world's gone football. Get in on it with Sky Bet. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
You're now joined by Michael Shearness from Sky Bet to look at all of today's football and discuss the latest. Michael, good afternoon. I guess we now know where we stand with the World Cup. We've got 2 cracking semi-finals to come on Tuesday, Wednesday night. Then, of course, the final next weekend. How are you guys pricing up the semis and the outright odds?
Yeah, good afternoon, Sam. Yeah, I mean, obviously we kind of went through it last night with England. I'm not going to lie, I didn't stay up for the Argentina game. I kind of read about it, but yeah, France head the market. I think it's fair to say they've been the certainly the most consistent team and probably the best team in terms of performances. They're 11-8 favourites with ourselves. England at 6-5, they're second favourites. Spain at 7-2 and Argentina at 4-1. And then the games themselves: France against Spain, we've got France favourite 5-4. Against Spain, who are 11-5, 21-10 the draw. And then the England game is even tighter in the betting. England just favourites with ourselves. It was kind of a pick-em game immediately. Afterwards, our traders have had a look, and then this morning they've just made England slight favourites at 6-4, Argentina 2-1, 15-8 the draw. But you wouldn't be surprised if one, if not both of them, we saw a bit of extra time and, dare I say, even penalties.
Golden boot prices and also player of the tournament odds, please.
Yeah, Golden Boot. Kylian Mbappe heads the market with ourselves at even money. Time with Lionel Messi at the moment, both on 8 apiece. But Mbappe, he's got the 3 assists count. So at the moment, it's on him to win it. You've got Harry Kane with 6 goals at 9-1. And Jude Bellingham at 6-1. 11-1 with 6 goals. But the Golden Ball, Jude Bellingham. Look, if England get to the final and, dare I say it, win it, I mean, 4-1 looks massive value. But at the moment, Golden Ball, Kylian Mbappe heads the market 6-4, Lionel Messi at 2-1, and then it's Jude Bellingham at 4s and Harry Kane at 8-1. So all to play for with just the semi-finals to go. I should say that the 4 teams, it was 100-1 that these 4 teams made it to the final. And on the face of it, it kind of feels obvious now because they were the first 4 in the betting when we started the tournament. Yeah, you could have got 100-1 for these 4 to be left in it.
Michael, thank you very much. Have a good day, mate.
Thanks, Sam.
That was a look at all the latest odds. Thanks to Sky Bet. It's 18 plus and gambleaware.org.
Football form roundup on talkSPORT with Sky Bet. Download the Sky Bet app and get in on it with Sky Bet. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Back to international football in the World Cup at 3. But Sean, just wanted to pick your brains on Newcastle and Eddie Howe and the situation he currently faces over the coming weeks in the transfer window. And of course, going into the season, we know that last season was a tough season for Newcastle. He's done a great job there. It started with the whole Isak transfer saga going on for a long time. They finished bottom half of the table. And of course, the start of this transfer window, lots is happening and not good stuff for Newcastle. Sure, a couple of players have been brought in, but high-profile players leaving the club. Anthony Gordon going abroad to Barcelona, Sandro Tonali going to Tottenham, and Arsenal want Bruno Guimaraes, and it feels like they're going to get him. Are you worried for Eddie Howe next season in Newcastle?
I think it's been really hard on him. I know you could argue the other way. They've supported him, in the first place, getting these players in and spent quite a bit of money. I don't know the ins and outs of their PSR. There might be some of that to do with it. I must say the Tonali one, I think it's 28 going on to. I mean, that's hard to turn down.
Good price, you think, for him, yeah.
I think that one's a hard, it's even the Isak one, right? What a player. But, you look at it.
Big money.
I know. And
there is probably...
that's more difficult, especially the Tonali one. I really do think that. Gordon, it's hard to turn down a player, forgetting about the contract. I mean, the fee, but for the it's Barcelona. So with all due respect, it's tough to say no when you're a manager to a player and he's going, look, I really want to go. It's Barcelona. You know what I mean? So I get that one, but that makes it tricky. But they are under contract. So the only chance you got nowadays is either you're staying regardless, but realistically, you got to offer them a new contract.
Sure.
Now, can you really compete? And I don't know their finances, but can you really compete with Barcelona?
I doubt
contractually,
it, yeah.
I would think it's unlikely. I can only imagine Tonali the same. I can only imagine Tottenham offered them a massive contract. Well, they have to for that fee. If he loses Guimaraes, after losing Isak as well last year, now that's 4 big players, big players, and that's really hard on him. But like I say, on the other hand, the club go, we backed you to get where you've got to, you know what I mean? So it's a tough one. I think he's a top manager, I must say, and I hope they get some signings that he can keep developing and redevelop, and they keep going. because I think he's done a great job there.
Do you have a specific, sort of transfer window in your career as a manager where you sort of go into training every day and the new bids come in for a good player and you're sat there thinking, goodness me, what's going on here?
I mean, not literally like that, but I lost big players. Well, relatively big players. You got to remember in Burnley's journey, there were probably always Burnley was like a big stepping stone. We knew that. Michael Keane's a good example. He came in for 2 million, we sold him for 24 or 25, whatever it was. At that time for Burnley Football Club, that's massive.
Huge,
yeah. They couldn't turn that down. Do you know what I mean? Even like Tom Eaton, who's my first ever signing, got on a free transfer. 32 years old, we got like 8.5, 9 million for him from Villa.
Went to Villa, didn't he?
Yeah, and of course he'd be getting a big contract from a club like Villa. And so it was a different situation for me at Burnley. The only good side of that is that the board and the chairman knew if you're getting weaker, you can't expect more consistently. The hardship in football now for the modern managers is they sell the best players, but I guarantee within 5 games next season, the Newcastle fans will be demanding more. Why aren't we in the top, 10? You go, well, we keep getting rid of our best players.
And I felt like maybe towards the end of last, not all Newcastle fans, maybe just some Newcastle fans. So I think there's obviously, the work Eddie Howe has done there on paper. You shouldn't forget he took over a team that were in the relegation zone. A couple of years later, they got Champions League football. Obviously, won that trophy.
Yeah.
I think towards the end of last season, there were maybe some Newcastle fans who weren't liking the start of football, and it feels like he needs to get off to a good start next season. Otherwise,
yeah, I mean, it was a tricky season, but he's taken them to a big, where they see the hardship in football now. And I got on well with fans. I'm not moaning about fans, but the demands get higher every year. And that you got to remember the first. I think Scotland were a good example, right? Because they're recent. So let's use that in the World Cup. To get there, lauded rightly so. Another tournament for Steve Clarke and the men to get there. And the early part, I get it. Haiti, can you beat them more than you did? Well, yeah,
probably could have done, couldn't they?
But then the rest of it, you go, it's sort of like it's been terrible. You go, look at the teams they're playing against.
Brazil and Morocco.
Probably the hardest group.
Yeah, one of the hardest groups. Yeah, definitely.
So the journey to get there was like, if he gets us there, we've done amazing. It's another World Cup. And you get there and it's like, rubbish. And you go, well, hang on, you said it was amazing, and you just accept getting there. So the way modern life works is we want more and we want more and we want more. We want it quicker and quicker and quicker. That's just society. I've noticed the change in my footballing life. So I'm not questioning anyone. It's just the way society is. So I think going back to Eddie Howe, even though if they do lose Guevara as well, and they'll sign some players, as you said, but the time scale for him to then develop them players into what these players have become is the next challenge for him.
And the key thing as well is bringing in the right players. Because sure, they lost Isak last summer, but also probably the thing they got most wrong Newcastle was the players they brought in didn't have anywhere near enough. Like Visser, nowhere near good enough. Voltemada, up and down. Anthony Elanga, very inconsistent. That's well over £100 million, and those way over £150 million. And those three players, and they were nowhere near good
they're
enough.
Still relatively new to that club.
Sure.
It's a bigger situation. Elanga, did brilliant at Forest. Goes to that club. It's a different demand there. Bigger club, more fans. Brentford the same. Visser, you're a big fish in a smaller pond. It's a different demand when you go to the big clubs. The feeling's different. There's a bigger demand on me when I went to Everton. You
felt that, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Of course you do. And rightly so, because they are big clubs. They are big concerns. Them players can still mould and develop into, top players at these clubs. It's the time now. It's the time managers crave. Give me some time. Give us an amount of time, a realistic amount of time to mould this team into where it needs to get to. Do you know what I mean? And that's the biggest commodity now in football for managers is patience and time. If you've got a club and fans who give you that, you've got a chance. If not, it's very, very difficult.
I hope Eddie Howe's given it after the great work he's done in Newcastle. Let's hope he gets that time. We're approaching 3 o'clock on talkSPORT. It is the World Cup weekend with Sam Ellard and Sean Dyche. Coming up next, we'll turn our attention to the 2 mouth-watering World Cup semi-finals.
Because Infantino, though, Simon, has said, yes, I got a call from Trump on Balogun.
Yeah.
They have allowed themselves to be boxed into a ridiculous corner, haven't they?
Well, it's one thing players cheating on a field, but when the people that are supposed to uphold the game ignore the integrity of their own positions, to damage the authenticity of what people might be watching, and challenge the legitimacy of it by allowing one set of group of people to have an advantage and not on others, you should start worrying about the existential threat that has to the game, and start worrying about what's happening to the football and where it's going next, and what will happen to it next.
Because if the Balogun situation did exist, and we never heard of a call going in from Trump to Infantino, the Kwanzaa 2-match ban
would be less controversial.
Would be much less controversial. It would almost come and go.
But again, we've got to distill it backwards, I think. If you sit there and you say, why is there no process available to rescind a red card? Why would there not be one? What is the logical thinking? Maybe FIFA can explain to us why it was necessary for the Trump regime to instigate some thinking into FIFA that should have been there in the first place. It shouldn't require Trump to be involved in the conversation. It should have been a simple appeal from, and by the way, US Soccer would have been all over this. It wasn't just Trump that did it. It was US Soccer that probably prompted him to do it. And they're sort of going in the background. It's not us, it's our commander-in-chief. No, Trump makes all the noise and carries all the cachet. But there should have been a process.
There's no regularity to this, Simon. Ironically, if you get sent off for in the Premier League for serious foul play, it's a 3-match ban.
But that's because you've got a 38-game season. This is a limited window.
Right.
So people are always going to condense it down based upon the size of the tournament.
Right.
But even more so in a limited...
Few people win the World Cup as a player. Very few people win the World Cup as a manager. Only 3 men in history have done both. One of them is Didier Deschamps. I mean, what a team. For our younger viewers, that's Zidane, Desailly, Leboeuf, Thuram. I could go on. And in 1998, those legends were captained by Didier Deschamps. Before that tournament, Deschamps had been winning league titles and Champions Leagues with Marseille and Juventus, and had led Les Bleus since 1996. They hadn't even qualified for the World Cups in 1990 and 94, but Deschamps had spearheaded the Renaissance. It culminated in that final against Brazil. The 30-year-old playing at the base of midfield was keen to get stuck in. Fais-lui savoir que tu es là, French for let him know you're there, according to Google Translate. Zidane and Petit got the glory, but Deschamps controlled the game before lifting the trophy into the Parisian night sky. After winning the Euros 2 years later, he hung up his boots and jumped into management. He had spells in club football before, in 2012, being put in charge of his nation. France scraped into the 2014 World Cup via the playoffs and were pretty pleased about it. Even a quarter-final defeat couldn't dampen the optimism. The tables, French fans believed, were starting to turn. They were runners-up to Portugal in their own Euros, but that silver medal around the manager's neck was about to change colour. In 2018, World Cup magic. France handed an almighty beatdown to Croatia, and Deschamps got his hands on this for a second time. It meant that he joined Brazil's Mario Zagallo and Germany's Franz Beckenbauer as the only men to have won the World Cup as a player and manager. France's victory even turned their president, Emmanuel Macron, into a meme. These still make me laugh, honestly. Deschamps went close to defending the title in 2022, but some guy called Lionel Messi had his own storyline to complete. Deschamps captained legends, he managed legends, and his World Cup achievements are legendary. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give this guy his flowers.
Good afternoon. You are listening to the World Cup Weekender. We are live on talkSPORT. It is Sam Ellard and Sean Dyche with you until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Just some breaking news, the confirmation of the breaking news that we broke an hour or so ago. Brendan McCullum has been sacked as the England Test coach. And another, it's been a remarkable couple of weeks, hasn't it, for England cricket? Some bad results. Brendan McCullum, though, has lost his job. He is no longer the head coach. In the Test match at Lords, India women 327 for 7. They're leading England by 442 runs, and we are just under an hour away now from the men's singles final at Wimbledon. It's the number 1 seed via the number 2 seed, Yannick Sinner, taking on Alexander Zverev. Who are you fancying, Sean?
Either.
Don't care. Who cares? Yeah. I'm going for Yannick Sinner. The game starts at 4 o'clock. Lisa O'Sullivan is on centre court at Wimbledon. She will bring you all of the updates as and when it happens. 4 o'clock start for that one. But at the World Cup, the semi-final stage is well and truly set.
Everybody's here to see the stars come out to play. Here's Kylian Mbappe! The quality of Kylian Mbappe.
Best player is Kylian Mbappe again. Lamine Yamal has won every single competitive finals game he's played. Played 8, won 8, and Spain have never lost when they picked it.
Coming in the shot, Messi! It is in! Master of all he surveys!
When he runs with the ball, it seems to be almost underneath him. So hard to dispossess it.
Harry, your country needs you here. You've got to put this away. Right foot in, he has!
The potential for heartbreak or euphoria.
Well, in terms of quality, the games, the pairing, the contrast, certainly the storylines, the history. This might be the best semi-final pairing we've had in years. Certainly in terms of who's in it. Number 1, 2, 3 and 4, Sean, in the FIFA rankings will be in the semi-finals. It's France, Spain.
I was going to say, that's remarkable in itself,
yeah,
isn't it?
It's England, Argentina. We've had a pretty good World Cup, haven't we, up until this point? Oh. It looks like it's only going to get better and better over the next week.
I think the one for me that jumps off the page is actually Spain. Well, because
you like Spain, don't you, Sean?
No. Let me make this clear. I'm on about the media sort of power of Spain, usually in these tournaments, and yet it's been quite low key, almost like I'm not sure. But
why is that? Do you think
they've conceded one goal?
One goal in the whole tournament, yeah.
That's brilliant in a knockout tournament, of course. If you're not conceding, and we know they've got players who can score. So I'm not saying they're favourites by any means, but they've been sort of under the radar, really. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I'd maybe say that everyone's got on the radar apart from France. I think everyone's been so fixated with France's front four, and almost like
I think we've had a bit, to be fair, because when Kane hit the ground running and scored straight away. You know that brings focus. Then you got Bellingham scoring.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
No, I think
and Tuchel being head coach as well adds a bit of extra pressure, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I think I know what you mean, but I think France. I agree. France, but they have. Let's face it, right? France come in favourites, and they're playing like favourites, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? So credit where credit's due. They're arriving. Right place, right time.
Sure.
Now, can they do it again and again? We'll see. But so far, they have been the real deal. So
have they impressed you the most?
But delivering an expectation is harder than when you're an underdog in a way. When you're an underdog, but in the camp, right, you go, we're decent. You hit the market and you go, bang, and everyone goes, wow, they're decent.
Is that a little bit like Norway, Sean? Because I think Norway were dubbed as underdogs, and they probably were going into the game against Britain and England, but they're still a really, really good team.
Yeah,
and not just Erling Haaland. He's obviously the main guy who gets all the goals, but that's some good players, certainly in midfield.
Of course. Yeah, Sorlov and Østegård, and, they've got some good technicians. And I certainly wasn't doubting them. I didn't think last night was going to be an easy game, and it wasn't. So, fair play to them and fair play to a number of other nations who were outsiders, let's say. But the biggest remarkable thing is the top 4 seeded teams are the top 4, are in the semis.
Yeah,
I think that's remarkable.
Yeah.
In this type of competition, 48 teams, and you're in the top 4, and you end up being the top 4. Well, obviously it's got to go down to 1, but in the semi-finals, the top 4 teams are all made it. That's remarkable. I agree. I think probably the surprise. Maybe another, similar, I suppose, different. The only reason for Argentina really is Messi. I think the noise around them. Do you know what I mean? He's been the figure point because he's turned up. All the top players have turned up. That's been the most joyous thing for me.
Possibly. Again, he's I'm not saying he's had a bad tournament and he's obviously a ridiculous talent. Maybe the one, because he's got such a high sort of standard, maybe Lamine Yamal, maybe he's, of all the kind of big name players. You're right. If you look at the Golden Boot race.
As well,
he's 18, but maybe he's the only one at the moment who
but
maybe
he's
still
at
got.
his age. I mean, I know others have done it, in the past, but
Well, he did it himself 2 years ago with the Euros as a 16-year-old.
Yeah, true enough. Yeah. But I mean, he's got a long way to go, hasn't he? You know what I mean? Different kind of talisman. I mean, if you're looking at Messi, you're looking at Kane for us, although Bellingham right behind him as regards that talisman type figure. I mean, here's another thing. You think about it, we've got two players in the top scoring list. Now that's a big thing to have.
Yeah.
At these late stages, you've got players like them on fire scoring goals.
And Bellingham's
you've
not
got
taking penalties either.
Yeah, and you've got
most of
two
the other guys.
players, you know what I mean? So that's a powerful thing for us, I think.
Look, hopefully Jude's still got another game or two to go and to add to this remarkable story. And I don't want to go early with this question, but look, we know that Gaza with England, iconic moment, living in big tournaments. Is Jude Bellingham, in terms of an individual World Cup, individual major tournament for England, in terms of what he's done so far, getting us to the semi-finals, is he at the absolute top in terms of, for England,
I think
individual
he's certainly
players delivering?
showing, a lot of times you throw these quotes around world-class players and all that. He's beginning to show.
Oh, he's what? Yeah.
Yeah, he's beginning to show why. No, I think real world-class is when you're doing it year after year, season after season. Now, we don't know yet. He's 23 and amazing, by the way. I must make clear what he's done. Does he look like he is going to come? Well, he already more or less is, but I mean, a bona fide world-class player, yes, he does. He's got all the right attributes. Big, strong, powerful, and can play. Most of all, though, can drive in the box and score goals. I mean, that is...
And he's got a handsome face to I mean, just on top of
marketing
dream.
dream.
I was going to say, the icing, I mean, thinking of that Snickers deal, hey, you got Dyche, you got Mourinho. I mean, throw Jude Bellingham in the mix. You've got a bit of everything there, haven't you, right?
Me and Jose were both so photogenic, obviously, especially me. No, but I just think he is looking the real deal. Harry Kane, I mean, how people down these years, I'd sit there, all managers will tell you, I'd sit there and go, when he gets questioned, the times when he has and the media say, oh, he's not this, I'm telling you, we sit there going, you'd have Harry Kane in your team.
The only thing that maybe Harry Kane got thrown his way was that maybe for England in the finals, the big games, he maybe hasn't delivered yet. But then, I'm sorry, I don't want that to sound I'm having a go at a guy who's England's record.
Well, it's not that easy. If it was easy, everyone would be playing brilliant in the top games, wouldn't they?
I'd be playing for England at the World Cup.
But he does look really fit and sharp, and he looks well. And that's the other thing. There's been all that noise about England. The usual, they're tired, and why are we doing this, why are we doing that? And I referenced Tuchel's training regime. There was a week, and they said they're getting blasted. And I said at the time, if that was an English manager, I think they'd go against it. I think, why are they doing that? They've had a tough season and all that. And I think it's interesting. The psychology's changed. And I think that's been really good. I think, they've gone, no, Tuchel's got a different way of doing things. And I quite like that. The papers have gone with it.
Sure.
So do you notice, it might be me, I don't cover it all like you do, but I don't read all the papers because a lot of it I think is nonsense. So, but what I do read, it seems to me people have gone with this idea of, if you know what I mean, sorry, I'm not explaining this up. The storyline, the usual storyline, they're tired, they've had too many games. You've hardly heard that, have you, this World Cup? From anyone.
Is that because we're winning?
Well, maybe, but I wonder whether people have gone, should we just park that storyline? Yeah. I haven't heard it from anyone. And don't forget, it's really hot. Lots of games, blah, blah,
I've heard that. Yeah. I've heard that it's quite hot in America.
You get what I mean, though? So but there hasn't been that, which is a good thing, I mean. Because don't forget, it gets in your psyche. People keep saying, every day you wake up, there's another story about, the players are tired, they're tired. If you tell someone that long enough, they will be tired, you know what I mean? I haven't really, that doesn't seem to...
No, you're right. It's mainly been about...
All these little things, they help. I believe they help. I think the press have been more gentle with they're still firm in some ways, but gentler with the group. The demand has been slightly less or more realistic, I would say. All this talk about they're tired. That negativity hasn't felt the same to me. It hasn't been as powerful. And I think that's a brilliant thing with the team. And credit to everyone's involved in the media, because I think they're very pro our chances to do it, pro our chance to win. And I must say, I said before the tournament, I think it's the best chance we've ever had. Not because England are brilliant and they come over all the way, but because the other superpowers, barring France, who have definitely taken
nowhere near their best.
Well, they're not like they have been when I was growing up.
Brazil, Germany.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. So I think that's one. I'm not doing the England team down, not doing the players down. I love the England team. I love the England players. I'm just merely saying the competition out there is not what it was in past tournaments, I don't believe, apart from France, who have turned up and they are delivering.
Well, I'll just say one thing. I mean, Mbappe's good, sure. Elise's good, sure. I mean, Barclay, Doué, and I miss Dembele. I've missed the obvious one. They haven't yet come across Dan Burn, have they? Well, let's put that out there. I mean, all this, I'm already just imagining a Dan Burn slide tackle.
Don't
Michael
mock him.
Olise.
Why are you mocking him? Don't mention it now, do you? Because if he plays in the next one, then you got something happens. You'll be going, oh, why did you get on him? Why are you doing that? Just leave the kid alone,
Dan Burn. No, listen. Every time he's had to come on, he's winning headers. He's defending well. Dan Burn, the England cult hero of this World Cup.
6'5" winning headers. That's his job, isn't it?
Yeah, it's his job. Do your job. Do your job.
Roy Keane thing.
Let's go back to women, shall we? Lee O'Sullivan, the result on centre court in the women's doubles final.
We have had a result in the women's doubles final, but first let me tell you about the boys juniors, because that's just finished. American qualifier Jordan Lee of the USA is the new champion. A real seesaw match against Cruz Hewitt of Australia, but coming through strong with a 3-game bounce in that third set to take it 2-1. So it is young Jordan Lee of the USA who is the new boys champion here. In the women's doubles final, Guo Hangyu of China and Kristina, aka Kiki Mladenovic of France, have taken the title from Gabrielle Dabrowski and Louisa Stefani of Canada. So we have the big one to come here on centre court. Yannick Sinner against Alexander Zverev. Sinner has won the last 9 matches against Sasha Zverev, who hasn't won a set in the last 6 of those. Will it be one-way traffic today? It's been a brilliant semi-final setup for what should be a really good 2026 gentlemen's singles final at Wimbledon.
Thanks, Lisa. Looking forward to that 4 o'clock this afternoon at Lord's, day 3 of the test match between England and India. India have finally declared on 341 for 7. That's leading by 457 runs. Lots of runs for England to get to try and win this test match, or try and battle 4 sessions and get a draw. For international listeners, there's live commentary of that on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel. Up next on the World Cup Weekender, we'll look at who could be potentially waiting for England in the World Cup final as France and Spain go head-to-head.
We all expected, okay, we need to beat Croatia by 3 goals. We need to go and beat Ghana by 3, and then we should beat Panama by 5. We should beat Congo by 5. But what's it like in a tournament? It's not always the case, is it?
No, definitely not. You know, it's funny when I see, you know, the betting, you know, things, you know, before the game, and I'm thinking this is not what we expect, you know, on the pitch. I know that England are favorite against Norway, but when you look at Norway, you know, they look really, really strong, you know, as a unit, as a team. Of course, they have weakness, but England must be aware that if they don't get the position of the ball in this game, and this is where I agree with Troy Deeney, for example. I think with the player they have, England, they should be more confident with the ball. They should show more commitment with the ball, you know, and composure as well. And this is where, you know, something is missing.
Yeah. Well, we shall see if we can show that. I mean, if you look, you know, on paper.
I'm just sorry to disturb you, Jeff, but for this game, England against Norway, I'm just wondering if Norway get the ball, is it what England wants into this game? You know, waiting, sit back, you know, trying to play in counter-attack, or try to get the ball, the position of the ball, and try to conduct and manage, you know, this game. So this is for me one of the key of this game. Yeah. Are you going to react with the ball and without the ball?
I mean, it's interesting because Norway had a lot more possession of the ball against Brazil than most people had imagined they would do.
Although the tactics of Ancelotti, though, did he say leave them with it?
Yeah.
I don't think we should do that. I think we should go after them. I really do.
Yeah, pressure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Text from Ryan. He said, Bellingham's been very...
A very good afternoon. This is the World Cup Weekender. We are live on talkSPORT. It's Sam Ellard and the former Burnley, Watford, Nottingham Forest and Everton manager Sean Dyche with you until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Then Majestic and Alan Pardew are taking over with the final word. The big breaking news in the world of sport this afternoon is that Brendan McCullum has been sacked as the Test coach in another staggering twist in what has been a quite remarkable couple of months for the England Test team. It comes 2 weeks after Ben Stokes made the stunning announcement to step down as captain and retire from international cricket. If you want more on that, do go over to the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel and hear what the boys have got to say about what next for England cricket. Time now, though, to take a look at tonight's game with Village Hotels.
talkSPORT's Big Match Build-Up with Village Hotels. Watch the big games live in the pub and grill at your local Village Hotel. Find your nearest at villagehotels.com.
Not quite tonight's games, but not too far away are we from Tuesday, France, Spain, and then on Wednesday it's Argentina against England. By the way, Village Hotels, I've got a Village Hotel 5 minutes from where I live, and in Elstree and Boreham Wood, a wonderful, wonderful place to go, have a cup of coffee and take it easy.
Nice. I've used Village Hotels many times for teams.
Oh, well, you stay there?
Around. Yeah.
Okay, you might have stayed at the one in Elstree in Boreham Wood, maybe.
Oh, I can't be.
Maybe.
Might have Elstree, Boreham Wood. No, can't remember where we used to stay. A few ones, but Village Hotels, yeah. Good.
Yeah. Are you a coffee man?
Nice coffee. Oh, yeah.
You are a coffee man?
Big, yeah.
What's your coffee order?
We had this the other day.
Oh, sorry, I don't mean to keep asking questions.
No, skinny. No, it's because
we've already got a new audience coming in, Sean.
No, it's not that. No, it's because it's because I won't bore you with it, but because of years of travelling. Skinny, hot, wet, flat white with a sweat.
Oh, get out, Sean.
Right, because years of travelling. Hang on, 10 years of going up, probably 13 years of going up and down the motorways, and you define your coffee down to where you go, that's the one. Because I must have had, I don't do all the sweet things with cream on, but I must have had every coffee there is. Cortado, I like a cortado.
Yeah.
Costa do a great cortado.
Okay.
They do a very good cortado.
So can you tell me what your order is one more time? A skinny,
hot, wet, flat white with a sweetener.
A skinny, hot, wet, flat white. What makes that difference?
Skinny is obvious. Hot is as in extra hot.
Okay, and wet?
And then wet, do you know what? You see, no foam.
No
foam.
Oh, no foam. Why? What's wrong with the foam?
Well, if you have a flat white, and sometimes a third of it can be foam.
Oh, too much foam.
It's
like getting a pint where you just got froth on the top of it.
Exactly.
Makes you just want a pint.
Yeah, so if you have it wet, if you ask for it wet, they take the foam off.
Yeah, I don't know why. Again, I'm learning new things about you. I thought you'd have been an old school guy, black Americano.
No, that's for the mornings. No, black.
You have different coffee in different times.
When I'm having my own coffee at home, then I have a black Americano.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my.
You can't do yourself a skinny hot wet.
When I go to the gym, no, but it's different when something else, mate.
Yeah, it's not the same, is it?
It's like cooking. You love cooking, and then you eat your own food, and you go, "That was good," but if someone else cooks, you go,
someone puts it in front of you, it tastes it better, doesn't it? Okay, fair enough. What are you doing in the gym these days?
I only take over stuff. Frequency at my age. It's not about smashing out. I'll do a few weights and a bit of. I've had 4 backups, so I can't run anymore. I used to love running. I can't run anymore, so I just do like cross trainer and step machine, and I just mix it up.
Yeah.
And a few weights just to tick over, but nothing major.
Yeah. Just stay in there, stay fresh, and just that's all.
Gives me the chance of another beer.
Yeah, you can have. I'll have 3 beers this evening now. Exactly. I've been in the gym, not 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's again. England have. I think we touched on the top, didn't we, Sean? That England are doing really, really well to get through. Not particularly playing particularly well at the moment, apart from that first half an hour.
Technically not so good, but as we said, you know, I'm pleased to say the underlying values of a team are not just the technical ability, you know, and the tactical understanding. What about the grit, the fire, the determination? And we've shown plenty of that, and it's going to be needed. It's going to be needed going forward.
As a manager, watching the game last night, again, Norway are a good team. I'm not saying we played one of the weaker teams, but I think that, again, if you went through and did
we're favourites,
exactly that. And I just thought that out of possession, I think we looked to sit really, really deep. We were quite happy for Norway to have a lot of possession. Do you think England last night showed Norway a little bit too much respect? With the players that we've got, should we be dominating
but we don't
games
know,
like that a little bit more?
This is where you don't know what the camp is saying. You don't know what the players are saying. Are they fatigued? Were they going in and they said, look, we're a bit fatigued from what's happening in Mexico? The whole drama of it, not just the physicality, the mental stimulus. Maybe they went, look, maybe the management team looked at it and went, we might have to play more, sit back and counter, because we can open them up better and we can reserve more energy. There's lots of different ways that you can operate. These are top players, top managers, top players. They'll ask different ways of the players to produce performances. And like in Mexico, I thought because of the altitude, because they may well do that. They may well drop in and counter. Because in New Mexico, we go flood at them, go hard for their lives at you, because that's what they do. And, the heat, humidity, the altitude, everything. Do you then play sit back to counter because we've still got players who can counter.
And to be fair, maybe contradicting myself here a little bit, in that Croatia game when we played really, really well, our good moments did come on the counter attack because you had Madueke pace out on the right, whether it's Gordon Rashford on the left,
you got Bellingham,
and Bellingham running with his powers. You can clearly see what type of squad Thomas Tuchel's trying to build with those players in the squad and the likes of Foden and Palmer, the more technical players not included.
I think we can do that against Argentina. I mean, I've seen them defensively. I think they're individually very good defenders, but I don't think they defend that well as a unit. I think they can go chasing a little bit man for man rather than staying as a unit.
Sure.
And that can be, I think we can definitely hurt them with that, with our players, with the players we've got.
Sean, it's a footballing rivalry, isn't it, that goes back generations. Replacing the World Cup final. Lionel Messi, by the way, is going to be playing against England for the first time in his career, which sounds made up. Like I would have thought there should have been a friendly somewhere, like one of those March international random friendlies where
that will come back round.
But I said I'm sure it'll obviously be covered over the next couple of days. But we know there's so much history there on the football pitch, off the football pitch, political tensions. It's going to be some occasion, isn't it?
There's a lot on it. And there, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, not just the obvious, not just the World Cup,
but it's against Argentina.
Yeah, exactly, and all the fear. But look, I mean,
21 years since we last played them in a game of football.
Yeah, and I was reading about that actually just this morning. But I think they'll feel like it, but inevitably, it's still a game of football that we want to win.
Yeah,
you can dress it up, dress it down like you do,
and we will do.
But it's a World Cup semi-final.
Is that what you're telling the players then? Forget about all the nonsense.
Yeah, because they look at this level of any tournament. These are top players. They know about top.
They played in big games, haven't they?
One of the biggest things that I was talking about the other day is when you look at the individuals in our group, they have won things. A lot of our individuals now have won things. That's a different thing. It's a different kind of experience. You've got a lot of players in our England team now have won things. Leagues, Champions Leagues, all sorts of different, they've had different things.
Sure.
So their thirst will be there and their knowledge of how you win things. Because it's a different thing. And I think we've shown that. I think we showed it against Norway. I don't think it was a brilliant performance, but there was a mentality to it. That's what it takes to win things. It's not just ability. It's a mentality thing. And I thought the mentality was really strong, and it was against Mexico. And there's a team mentality, a group mentality. You know what I mean? And I think that's going to be really, really important.
Just one more before we break. What are the big decisions Thomas Tuchel has to consider for that game Wednesday night?
Well, he's making them. I mean, I was surprised, unless it's because of the contract. What's the word? Looking after his injury with Saka. I was surprised Saka didn't start.
I think the only reason could be he's not fully fit.
Declan, you can imagine, is going to be fully fit. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think he was ill in bed for 3 days building up to that game.
That's so difficult. It's difficult anyway.
You could tell in that first half that he just was not anywhere near his usual level.
He's going to be back and firing on all cylinders, I think. So defensively, I think that's been all of our biggest worries. And yet again, these are very good players. I'm about as a unit, finding the right unit. I reckon that will be the thing that he'll be most looking at. I think, anyway.
France-Spain is Tuesday. England-Argentina is Wednesday. And you can watch the games live in the pub and grill at your local Village Hotel. Find your nearest at villagehotels.com. Plus, for a chance to win a Village Hotel VIP experience for the World Cup final at a Village Hotel near you, head to talksport.com/win.
talkSPORT Big Match Build-Up with Village Hotels. Watch the big games live in the pub and grill at your local Village Hotel. Find your nearest at villagehotels.com.
Coming up next, Alan Pardew will join us in the studio.
Are France that good, or have they been tested yet?
I think probably a little bit of both. I think they are that good. I think they are, because they showed second half what they can do in tight spaces and there. But I think there needs to be a moment where they will inevitably come up, probably against Spain, hopefully against England, where with their teams that more danger lies ahead. But they kind of, I think it was quite simple for France.
Mate, they're coasting to the semi-final of the World Cup.
Yeah. Well, they're a good side though. They're a good side. They've got the best player in the world.
Do you know what I like about France? And it's a bit of a throwback. The forwards, when they get the ball, You know, you see a lot of players, number 10s or midfielders, they'll get it and they'll pass it out wide and they'll come back and they'll go out the other side and then you might try and get to the byline. When France win the ball, they stick it into the front three or front four and they run at you, like through the middle of the park. You know, and they just drive with the ball, a bit like what Gaza used to do. And then the game just opens up. And you're looking at it going, as a defender, I'm watching the Moroccans, they're going, how do you defend that? Well, you've got 3 people running off the ball, and then you've got the player with the ball running at you, straight at you. You know, the second goal they score is just like them just going, well I'm just going to run through you.
Well, it was 2-0.
Hard to defend again.
It could have been 4 if Mbappe scores that. JP had a chance at the end there, and brilliant, gets got on his left foot and then scuffs his shot. And in the end, it was comfortable for France. They really didn't break a sweat. I don't remember their keeper having anything to do at all. There might have been a couple of crosses. I don't remember it. But, yeah, they're that good, mate. And I think they've got a little bit of a fear factor about them because everyone knows how good they are going forward. You cannot allow their 2 wide men to run at your fullback 1v1. You can't allow Elise to get on the turn. Even in tight areas, he'll let the ball run across him and he'll turn, he'll flick, and he'll play balls in. And you've got Mbappe, the best player in the world, up top.
It is the World Cup Weekender. We're live on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard and Sean Dyche with you until 4 o'clock this afternoon. If you want the chance to win £26,000 tax-free cash or to celebrate the 2026 FIFA World Cup, we're giving away the big bucks. Continue England's winning feeling and enter now. To do that, head to talksportwin.com to enter and for full T's and C's. We're following us at 4 o'clock on talkSPORT. Majestic and Alan Pardew take over for the final word. And I'd like to say that Alan Pardew is with us in the studio. Alan, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
I'm guessing on the show it's going to be England, and a lot more England.
A little bit, yeah. We do our own little spin on what's been going on, and the aftermath of the result, etc., etc. We just hear on the news there, Bellingham's comments, how we interpret that.
How do you interpret it?
I'll be telling you at 4 o'clock.
Okay, I was
It's a handover, It's not like
stuff like that. Well, let's talk about. I mean, you guys must have had some great battles. Any standout, Sean?
Well, these are. I always mention Pards and Tony Pulis and like Mick McCarthy. I've all been very helpful down my career. When I was younger manager and I started at Watford. It's little things. Sometimes they drop you a text or something. They go, look, stick at it. You're having a tough time and stuff like that. And I think there's a good camaraderie between all the sort of older England managers and the younger ones. And I hope it continues. Because it was important to me. Steve Bruce is another one. They help you out, and he was always like that. And then over the years, I managed against him and his teams as well.
Yeah, I mean, the trouble is now you send it in a foreign language.
yeah.
There's no English speaking managers around.
No, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's obviously now, is that something a big difference, something that's changed quite a lot in terms of the relationship? Because you mentioned earlier that you'd always go and have a drink after the game with a lot of the English managers, but now that's a little bit different.
I tell a lot of the young coaches and managers, I say, look, reach out to these guys. Some of them won't. They almost feel like they're, I don't know, like they're, doing themselves down. And I go, no, reach out to them. I remember being in the Premier League and ringing David Moyes once because I was like, we were going to get relegated. Look, like we're going to. I said, Moyes, and he just reaffirms it. Basically, he said, your players ain't good enough. He weren't being nasty. He just said they're not good enough. So he said, don't lose sight of the fact that you're working with your hands tied behind your back. It was the first time we went up, and then the second time we were a lot stronger. But he was right what he said, and he said, don't lose sight of the work you're doing. He said, you're doing brilliant to give them a fighting chance. So don't lose sight of that. And these guys have been brilliant with me. And I always respect them because it's important you do. I think too many young coaches, it's almost like they've reinvented football. And these guys have done it way before they have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Way before I did.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of respect for them.
Yeah, I love it. Like, the low block is a phrase that gets used quite a lot in football. And people that have been in the game will say to me, the low block, kind of that thing where you defend deep, it's kind of been a thing before, the 2020s.
When I played in the cup final under Steve Coppell in 1990, we was very much a low block in the semi-final against Liverpool, the 4-3 game. And the people who were old enough to remember that game, it was an unbelievable end-to-end game. But basically, we was off a low block, just breaking. We scored like we must have had about 6 attacks the whole game, but we scored like 4 goals in those 6 attacks. But that's so it has been around, and we do get wrapped up in the politics of tactics. But what it really comes down to is the players, the relationship with players. And how they are mentally for you. And the one good thing about this England team, and I'm sure Sean would agree, is that the subs are all making an impact. And that happens when you've got a good group, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When the group's getting on, you put your subs on and suddenly you look a great manager because your subs have done well. But if you've got the opposite situation where you haven't got a great atmosphere, you're putting your subs on, they're a disaster. And everyone's saying, why did you sub him? What did you take him off for? And then you're getting all questions. So it kind of all feeds into itself.
Yeah, if the subs feel connected to the main group, that's the key. But if they feel like you're almost binned off, then that's when it goes wrong, isn't it? You know what I mean? But they do. This group does feel connected, it seems to me. But I will say, and I said it when we were talking with Jim and Simon, that I don't think Gareth lacked that, to be fair. He gets a bit of stick now, but he was the original one who brought a club-style atmosphere to international camps. And I think Tuchel's done well to do his own version of that. Or that's what it seems from the outside looking in. It looks like all the lads, but they're still doing, it makes me laugh now because I don't like it when Gareth gets done down needlessly. I'm not defending him, but he doesn't need me to defend him. But, now they're going, oh, yeah, he got him diving off diving boards. And they're going, what, you didn't think he was doing that? No, darts days, can't, what's his name?
Playing the traitors?
Yeah, whatever, you know what I mean? And you just go, But I've got no problem with that. I'm actually commending them both managers, because I think Tuchel maybe thought, actually, we're on something here. I'm sure people said to him, look, they created this group atmosphere. So fair play, it's good management, by the way, to not try and change so much. I think it was Capello when it went the other way.
Capello, we've had a few.
He went,
no flip-flops, no ketchup.
Well, you can't, and it killed you. He'll tell you when you're away with players, food is massively important. If you start not giving them a treat, everyone, it's got to drive them stir crazy.
If you're not giving them a treat,
seriously, drive you mad.
Like a dog, isn't it?
No, but apparently it was just like pasta, chicken, vegetables every day. And so it would drive you mad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So yeah. So
I think, I don't want any vegetables.
No, but you know what I mean? So I think them small things, they seem really small, but they're really important. Yeah. Team days out and camaraderie. And I mean, the old days and nights out have gone, but, You can still take them out. You know, I don't know. They go, I don't know, whatever they do now.
When they win the World Cup next Sunday, we'll give them.
Take them out for black cod now.
Yeah. You're not wrong, yeah. Black cod wrapped in banana leaves. You're like, oh, yeah, all right.
Oh, banana what?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Banana leaf, yeah, that's what it's served in.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Alan, thank you very much. You'll be back at 4 o'clock with Majestic for the final word, where you'll tell everyone your thoughts on Bellingham and Tuchel and co.
And Madge's own, take on certain things that are happening at Spurs at the moment.
Lots going on
Obviously,
there.
lots of transfers into there.
Interesting,
So
yeah.
he's the man.
Alan, thank you very much.
Good part. Great to see you, mate.
Sean, you worked with Jordan Pickford, didn't you?
I did.
At Everton. Firstly, what's he like as a character? Because
brilliant season as well. He's proved his worth over many seasons. But from what I saw from some of the players and people I keep in touch with around Everton circles, he's had a really big season as well. So he certainly comes into the tournament in fine form. And has delivered his part so far.
Yeah, go back to a few years ago. I didn't love Jordan Pickford because I thought he was a goalkeeper that was a little bit too pushy and punchy and flappy, and I thought he made me feel nervous. But then I thought over the last couple of years for Everton, I mean, when Everton was struggling down at the bottom of the table, I mean, if it wasn't for Jordan Pickford, who knows where Everton could have been a key part, as you all know, in Everton's continuity in the Premier League.
To be fair, I wouldn't sing them out in my time because I thought the group mentality, you got to remember we had points deductions and everything. He's part of that strong group. Seamus Coleman, people like that, Tarky, Keano, all them guys, real good people, not just good players. But I think last year, from what I gather, really, really big season for Jordan. Going into a tournament, that's brilliant.
And then I'd also add to that at international level, going into this tournament, in the 4 major tournaments he's been in goal for England, I can't think of one time he's made a mistake. I think he's always been good, always been consistent.
Well, I hope he goes on.
No, I hope so too. But I was going to ask you, were you sort of surprised that maybe kind of in and around the start of the tournament, there were some people, I think Troy Deeney might have been the first kind of high-profile person to maybe do a piece in the paper, sort of thing, he makes me feel nervous. Has that stuff been a little bit too harsh on John?
No, but I think the players are used to that now. The players who are playing around him are used to that. That's his style, isn't it? I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that is his style. He is like that. He's involved in everything, and he wants to be involved and waving his arms around. I used to talk to him about it as if like I was going to change it. You're not going to change it. Why
does he do it?
I just think it's part of his character. Yeah, I just think it's the way he is. You know what I mean? I know people who worked with him when he was a youngster and he was like that. So, I mean, all I hope is he keeps performing because at the end of the day, these are big times for us. And, we've been close before. Can we go again? And goalkeepers are always massive.
What have you made of his World Cup so far? I mean, there was a mistake, wasn't there, in the last 32, wasn't it? But
yeah, I mean, last night, you couldn't work out. I know it's a cross shot, but I wasn't sure whether he left it or he whether he judged it or misjudged it or what happened. I
thought that was a hard effort, whether it was a shot or a cross. I had sympathy for him there. I don't think that was an easy.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying you should have saved it. What I mean is, if you look at his mannerisms, his goalkeeper, I wasn't sure whether he went to deal with it and then thought like, oh no, it's gonna go wide or hit the post or something. I wasn't sure. No, I'm not. There's no blame attached. I'm just saying, I'd love to know if he did go for it. Because only he'll know. And most keepers are really honest with moment in the game. I mean, the Norway keeper, he'd be driving him mad, that one.
Oh, goodness.
That would be driving him mad.
Are you surprised Pickford's still at Everton? Are you surprised that, I mean, maybe there has been some interest from other clubs, but think of his consistency for Everton, consistency for England in big moments, big games of the World Cup.
No, but I think he'll be.
Haven't come sniffing?
I think he'll be looked after there. And you got to remember, when you get to his stage of his career, I think he signed he had a long-term contract just before I got there. He got a family and everything as well, and if they're all settled, and life's good, and Everton is still a big club, by the way. Don't forget. I mean, I know it was in the wrong end of the table, but it's still a big concern. So I get why he's probably stayed there, and he is rewarded there. I mean, he's well thought of there financially with his contracts and by the people there, by the fans and stuff like that. So it can make for a nice settling place for him, and I think he has settled there.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's doing well for England. I thought some of the stuff I didn't like at the start of the tournament, it seemed like people just wanted to pick on him for the sake of it. All of a sudden, like making a big thing about Pickford not being good. He's never ever let England down in the big games, the big moments at the World Cup. I think he's a top guy, top keeper. You'd imagine a key part of that dressing room, been around now for a long period of time. So yeah, fingers crossed. Let's hope that continues. This is the World Cup weekender. Utter woke nonsense is next with Sean Dyche. I'll explain more in a couple of minutes.
they get into this weird situation where they forget what happened before. So all the big games, they played Havertz, right? Gyökeres, who you bought in at the start of the season, was going to be, for all the big games, in all the big games, he was on the bench. Yeah. Facts, that's what happened. So the manager doesn't trust him. That's not our opinion, that's just objectively looking at it. Havertz gets injured quite a lot, unfortunately. Gary Jesus is not the same since he's come back from his injury. So if you're now telling me that you could get through this season again and everybody else is going to be as poor as they were last year, I think you're just forgetting the fact that you lot were all losing your marbles around the Man City loss. And it was, we need a proper striker. Arteta don't know what he's doing again. You win the league, it's great, we're going to win it.
Yeah, but you know what I've always said to, I've always said to you, I always said to him, though, Gyökeres wasn't bought in for the big games, didn't I? I said that to you. We bought Gyökeres in. For the...
No, I get
listen.
Explain.
I want to hear the year before, Arsenal, it weren't the record against Man City's, the Liverpool, it weren't that cost us the league. It was we couldn't beat Fulham, couldn't beat West Ham, couldn't beat them lesser clubs. Gyökeres coming. I mean, he said it. Right, it's one of them. Gyökeres this season, though. Gyökeres this season scored against the Fulhams, the West Ham, so we didn't have a problem getting past those teams, which is why then we went on to win the league.
Okay, I think you won the league because you played very pragmatic football. I'm not actually allowed to say the type of football that people are calling it on air, but you played a certain type of football.
Would you play that type of football to win the league?
No.
What?
What are you talking? Of course you would.
Honestly.
If I was a footballer.
No, it's just like...
Your team?
Yeah.
No, I'll be happy like you lot. I'll be exactly... You get me? I'll be happy. Of course I will.
But would you like to see Spurs play that way to win?
Brendan Johnson scored with like his knee or something and we won the trophy. I'm happy. I don't care, bro. However it gets done, I'm happy. I don't really care. But what I'm saying is, you can't like gloat about it and say, oh, we don't need a 9. That's crazy. You do need a 9, respectfully. What are you talking about, bro? If you sold Osimhen and Havertz right now, you could... sorry, Osimhen. If you bought Osimhen and sold Gyökeres and Havertz right now, you'd be great. You'd be fine. You could buy Barcola. Barcola and Osimhen changes their team, bro.
Do you know what? I'm happy with what we got.
Oh, you're a liar. That's a lie. You're a liar. That is a lie.
I'm happy with
that. Is
It's the World Cup weekend. We're live on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard and Sean Dyche with you until 4 o'clock. It's been a cracking couple of weeks at Wimbledon. We've had some surprises, certainly in the women's side of things. We've had some cracking games, lots and lots of drama. But Lisa O'Sullivan, and now all comes down to centre court today. The men's singles final, the number 1 seed against the number 2 seed. It's going to be an absolute cracker, isn't it?
The unbroken blue sky, the sun beating down on the baked grass of centre court, the crowd taking their seats, and 126 players who started the fortnight in the gentlemen's singles draw have left the competition with down to the last 2, and as you say, the top 2 in fact. Reigning champion and world number 1 Jannik Sinner takes on the new world number 2 and newest Grand Slam champion Alexander, known as Sasha Zverev. So here are the numbers. It's a 15th meeting for the pair, 5 at Grand Slam, 2nd in a major final, but it's the first at Wimbledon or on grass, and it's been one-way traffic for Sinner in the last 9 matches. He's won the last 6 in straight sets. We have to go back to 2023 US Open for Sasha Zverev to be on the right side of the scoreline, but a lot's changed recently for the German. He, having won the title of best player not to win a major for a long time, the 29-year-old took the title at Roland Garros this year and is eyeing the Channel Slam by doubling up his Grand Slam haul. A win would make him the first player in the Open era to win a second major singles title at the next Slam after winning his first. A cheque for £3.6 million awaits the winner, half that for the runner-up. But Jannik Sinner and Alexander Zverev are playing for a place in tennis history as the 2026 Wimbledon champion.
Lisa, thanks so much. £3.6 million for the winner at Wimbledon, eh?
That is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, isn't it?
That is a lot of money.
And coming from someone who works in football, that really must be a lot of money. If you've got that's a lot of money, isn't it? Yeah. Even you've gone, what?
Do they get taxed on winnings? Do you get taxed on winnings?
I'm guessing.
I've been paid 48% for years and it drives me mad.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah.
48, not 50?
I don't care how much money that hurts when you're giving away 48%. Well, about 48%.
Yeah. Maybe we'll save that sort of conversation for another show.
Yeah,
maybe get Sean Dyche on Talk Radio.
Well, not the massive fees we earn here, obviously.
Yeah, I don't get
enormous fees.
I'm not getting taxed 48% of my fee for today.
I can assure you I'm not. I'm here for love, mate. I'm here for love.
I'm sure that, we do it for love.
No, it's good.
We do
it's
it
good.
for love of the game,
it.
don't we, Bobby? I might have to reveal, Bobby, before we do utter woke woke nonsense. Am I allowed to reveal what you're having for dinner tonight?
Have yourself. No problem at all. Yeah.
So you've gone. And
back-to-back curries.
I respect this. You're going back-to-back curries this
No, the
weekend.
problem is because I've been talking about it, and I'm going back
Is
to
it my
Nottingham.
fault
I've
you're
been in
having curry
London
tonight?
all week, and I'm going back to Nottingham.
You've been busy, mate, haven't you?
I have. I've been very busy.
You don't need football management. Punditry.
I mean,
needs
I've
Sean Dyche.
enjoyed. I do enjoy talkSPORT because it's informative but fun. I like that. I like to listen. Loads of people now they come up to me and say,
Do
"Oh,
they?
you know, John talkSPORT." The cabbies love it, so they always
they got
crack
to
with
like
me. Yeah. And other media bits I've enjoyed. So yeah, why not? Why not enjoy it while I'm not working? I am working.
Yeah. Are you working or not? Is this work?
Well, it is.
This isn't work,
It's more than you think. Well, no, this is quite light, but some of the stuff I do, you have to do all your proper homework and that.
Yeah. Oh, so you didn't do homework for this show?
Yeah, but what I mean is not.
That's
in
a bit
depth.
unprofessional.
No, because you're asking me my opinion of what the journey in football is like, not whether who had 200 passes or 300 passes.
I've noted on my notes on my prep that Sean Dyche didn't do any prep for the show.
Well, you'd be
which
surprised.
feels a little bit disappointing.
Test me if you want to. It's
okay.
up to you.
Okay, now it's time for some utter woke nonsense. We'll be looking at some of the best bits from talkSPORT this week, and we'll get Sean Dyche's verdict on whether it is utter woke nonsense. Let's kick things off with the breakfast show earlier this week with Jeff Stelling and Gabby Abundahor. I like that sort of sound bits when I like that. With Jeff Stelling and Gabby Abundahor, they were joined by the legendary Professor Brian Cox, and Gabby had a question for him.
You don't believe the moon landings were real?
I don't. Part of me is a bit like.
Could you educate him, Brian?
Well, you educate me. I'm a bit like. Did it happen?
Yeah, I mean, it did. The answer to the question really is that if you think about the alternative, it's that governments are really competent so that they can cover up something like that. If you think just that single sentence, government is competent, you can see why. There's no way you can cover things like that up for 50 years.
No.
Brian Cox.
Do you know what? I can't believe that for coming from Gabby.
Yeah, it's Gabby,
Yeah. Brian Cox, what a guy, right?
You like him?
Yeah. I mean,
met
why
him
would you no, but I'd love to. What a guy. But why would you even question him? Trust me, I'd be going, I'm going to be cringing if I was Gabby there. I'd go, I can't even say
He
this.
doesn't believe the moon landings were real, Sean. What would you say to that? What would you say to Gabby? He might be listening.
I'd just go, Gabby, come on. I don't even know what to say for that. They're so absurd.
You're speechless. For the first time on this show.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say I'm speechless. I'd just say, but that's out there, isn't it? That's out there. Come on.
Yeah.
Like Brian Cox. Brian Cox is way more intelligent than all of us. But what I would say is I thought he's nailed that brilliantly because he just said, well, you think governments have managed to keep that a secret for how many
that'd
years?
be quite hard to do.
Yeah, that would be very difficult, I would suggest.
So we're confirming that's utter woke nonsense.
Okay.
Are you confirming
that?
that's utter woke
well, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay, good. Okay, there we go. Gabby, utter woke nonsense.
Yes.
Up next, Jason Cundy comes up with an idea to change. This is very sports bar. To change how many days you have in a week. All right.
So yeah, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you have a fun day.
Right. You already call it fun day?
I've made that up, right?
Okay.
Fun day.
Right.
And the fun day, and then you start Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, fun day.
I don't know what you're on about.
Well, just add another day the week.
You can't add another day, mate.
Well, you can. You can do what you want.
So he's not really. Sorry.
Do you honestly? I don't know where we're going with this. Do you honestly want me to comment on that?
Yeah, this is talkSPORT, Sean Dyche. Yeah, 100%.
I am aware. I'm aware. I've been doing this quite a long time for talkSPORT, but come on, there's some levels where I have to go. Really? You want me to comment on that?
Yeah, ideally, I think so. We've got 4 minutes left of the show.
Well, I know. In fact, I'll make my own version of it because I did someone said I was unemployed. I said no, I'm fun employed.
Yeah,
there's a big difference. You know what I mean? When you're out of football, you tend to be fun employed. So.
Okay, well, what about this then? Do you think we'll ever live in a world where the working week looks a bit different? It's not just a Monday to Friday, maybe like a Monday.
They changed it. They changed it in Dubai, didn't they? They changed it. Yeah, because
so
it used to be the weekend was Friday and Saturday, and then they changed it to working time of the Western world because of the fact that everyone's at work on certain days.
Okay,
I think that's right.
I've never been to Dubai.
Someone probably knows better than me, so someone will probably message him. But
yeah,
I'm pretty sure they changed it from their weekend. They changed it to our weekend, if you know what I mean. But because of business. Yeah, because of business.
I like the idea of a 4-day working week. But yeah, I mean, Jason Cundy's idea is basically just change Sunday to fun day, right? I mean, it's not the most revolutionary thing they've done.
No, I don't think so.
So are we saying that's utter woke nonsense as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
That's just utter nonsense. not woke nonsense.
Basically, talking a load of absolute rubbish, isn't it? Yeah. Let's finish with the breakfast show. Here's Jeff Stelling talking about Bruno Guimaraes, who's set to leave Newcastle for Arsenal. Have a listen to this.
Swapping Newcastle for London? Are you crazy?
I think a lot of people prefer to live in London, yeah.
What?
Yeah,
With its sort of overflowing rubbish on the street, it's impossible to get around. You look at Newcastle and the beauty of it, the Theatre Royal and the architecture of Grey Street and the Grey Monument. You know, you've got everything you've got. You've got the big market, for goodness sake. You know, you've got the race course. Hadrian's Wall is just outside the city as well.
I mean, listen, I don't want to end the show on a negative note, but like, I live in London. I mean, I wouldn't be in a rush to come down here anymore.
No, I like London. I can't be honest. I'm a fan of London, yeah.
You don't live in London, do you?
My daughter's at Newcastle, so I do like Newcastle. I've been up there a number of times and worked with there, taking games. I do like Newcastle, and I like the people there and the atmosphere there, especially at their games. So I must make that clear, but I do prefer London. But my daughter's at uni there and having a great time. So
Okay.
I do go there.
So she's enjoying.
They love football mad though. They are football mad.
Proper football people up there, right?
Oh yeah, like I can go around London and football fans say hello and all that. In Newcastle, it's just like my daughter had to take me to like this little trendy little cocktail bar because she said there won't be football fans in there. There's like some.
How did you get on in the trendy little cocktail bar?
Very nice, very nice. I can't remember what it's called, but she took me to a very good Indian there. She knows I like Indian.
She's like Indian.
She's not that bothered. Well, she's not that bothered about Indian food, but she did take me to a fantastic Indian there.
And did you get yourself a snazzy cocktail though, or did you keep it?
No. Well, I had a bit. No, she asked me. She likes tequila and different tequila blends and that. So I had a tequila. Yeah. Well, no, like a cocktail with it in. But I had a beer. I'm more of a beer.
Yeah.
Beer monster.
Beer and a shandy, man. So on
Not
the
shandy. I don't know. That was a joke. I don't know.
No, I don't think it is.
Everyone gets that joke. So you picture me.
If you like a shandy, own it.
If anyone in the world ever sees me go into a pub and order a half of lager shandy, you can literally hit me with a big wet fish if you wish.
Yeah,
because I've never ever ordered half.
I know.
It's a joke that I tend to use.
There is. Go on. Can we hear the wet fish again? That's.
Oh, did you
can't hear it, can you?
I love that.
You haven't got headphones on.
That's good.
You were just staring at me really.
Sorry,
weird.
I've got
What's this guy on about?
Yeah, no, I like it.
I know you don't. I know you do. I know
you
don't
understand my
drink
point. If anyone ever hears me in a bar order a half a lager shandy, trust me,
you get some.
They can hit me with a wet fish, can't they?
There we go. You should have your headphones on so you can hear what it actually sounds like.
It's funny when you have to describe it.
Yeah. Basically, that's what I'm guessing a wet fish will sound like. Still slapped on your face. Sean, thanks very much for the
Brilliant. Totally enjoyed it.
talkSPORT?
Next Friday, I think I'm doing the morning show, and next Sunday as well, I think.
Okay,
So,
good.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed today. Brilliant as well.
Good.
Thank
Sean,
you.
it's been really good meeting you. You've been listening to the World Cup Weekender on talkSPORT. Coming up next, it is the final word. Majestic and Alan Pardew. They're on the way next on talkSPORT.
Let's go to Ben. He's Arsenal fan. All right, Ben?
Benny boy.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm all right, Ben. We've got to do this quarter-final 11. Let's get it going. Come on.
All right. I've got the Spanish flamenco dance on the wing. Like around defence. Their foot tapping or dazzle their defence and send them sideways.
Yeah, the old flamenco dance.
And
Dance
the
with
little maverick on the wing. Little maverick on the wing.
Like a flamenco dance.
Yeah.
What are they called? Is it flamenco or is it what is it? Flamenco.
Madame might wait for you.
Flamenco.
It's a flamenco.
Yeah.
Flamenco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know you're iconic now, Ben?
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
He's actually iconic.
Ben